Welcome everybody to the Streakers Island podcast. And Chazzy, I need you to put a new prop in the app. Dan says I shouldn't care about my health. So put it in the app right now. In the booth, should Jacob Moore care about his health?
Send me that rivalry.
I wasn't having a joke. Putting words in my mouth, Blow. I'm happy for you. That's not what I meant.
Dan's a mean brother.
No, you're the mean brother.
I'm kidding. Anyways, it is I, Jacob Moore, the self-proclaimed try to care about my health sports analyst. I'm even drinking zero sugar iced tea.
Ew.
That's what I said.
Being joined by Mr. Chazzy 7.21 eggnog update incoming. Mr. Lane Dashing Dashco. And Mr. Moore for your money.
Woo!
Quick question before we get into the rest of the show. Do you boys like eggnog? I love it.
No.
Lane, eggnog?
Oh, no.
Well,
I like Coke and water. That's pretty much what I only drink.
I hope you're talking about the drink.
Yeah. Coca-Cola.
Okay, good.
And
Because Coke and
Pepsi.
water can mean something very different. And we are a drug-free zone on the island. So let's get into this show. We have week 8 from the Canadian Football League, which
Sounds like the Saskatchewan Christmas in July.
But we saw Christmas in July and a full Eastern sweep over the West. No one had that in their bingo cards. We may have seen the play of the year, too, in BC. We're going to go over some
CFL history.
We're going to go over some injury updates on a couple quarterbacks in the league. Toronto Blue Jays winning streak at 3, has now been snapped. Is that a concern?
3.
No, because they lost one to New York. NFL training camp. Yes, they did. NFL training camp is underway.
No.
What does that mean? What are some big stories?
Okay.
Ottawa Senators. Are they better? Are they worse? We may get into that. I may just say screw it because who cares about the Ottawa Senators? I'm kidding, Ottawa.
Shades cares.
We may push it till Thursday. And, of course, we have the CFL power rankings. And apparently we're going to talk about sugar-free iced tea, eggnog, and how Dan doesn't like it when I pull pranks on him after I hit the record button. We have fun here on the Streakers Island. But
By the way, it was a 4-game winning streak, not a 3-game.
That's what I'm saying.
Close enough. Close enough. But let's get right into the CFL games that happened on week 8, starting with our first game of the week. The Montreal Alouettes take down the Calgary Stampeders in a very close 23-21 game. But I especially want to ask Chazzy, how concerned are you with Calgary losing that one? Do you think that was more just because VA had to come out of the game for concussion protocol? Or do you think maybe this team just wasn't making the right play calls going down the stretch?
Well, Montreal is 5-2, so they're contending team, so you never know what you're going to get. And what you said, VA is going to come back this Thursday, so I think that's more of a relief than sort of letting this one slip away.
So if you're Calgary, don't worry about it. Flush it down the toilet. Hopefully you got a big toilet to handle all those bad plays in the fourth quarter and just move on.
I'd say you didn't get blown out. It was close. Yeah, you lost, but
I guess
you lost to by Moto hitting a 57-yard field goal, which was not expected for him to hit that 57-yard field.
Yeah, not much you can.
I totally agree with Chazzy on this one.
I don't know. How long is VA going to be out? That's a concern.
It looks like he'll be back for Thursday's game against the Red
Okay,
Lions.
so then you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
That's
if you're
not bad.
Calgary, I think you kind of just forget it for this one. You know what? Looking into some of the stats in this game, they did do a lot of things well. I thought it was disappointing, though. They got a loss in front of one of their better crowds they've had all year. But, I mean, you know what? They did. VA, before he got hurt, was 15 for 25, 193, and no picks. Dedrick Mills, again, 14 carries, 78 yards. Like, this Calgary team's rolling. This defense still only allowed 23 points in total against Montreal's offense. So I think if you're Calgary, I think you're still feeling okay as long as VA isn't hurt long term, which doesn't look like he's going to be. If you're Montreal, you got to feel good that without Davis Alexander, you found a way to put up 23 points and you found a way to win.
For sure. 100%. Like, it's hard. I've been pretty critical of MBT, but they had a good game here. Davis Alexander, you lost him, brought him back, and you lost him. And this was a game that, you probably looked at as lost, but you were able to pull off the win here. That Montreal team is resilient, man.
They are. They're very good on the defense.
You have something better to say. Did you, Chazzy, or are you good?
No, I'm good.
Okay, cool.
Great insight. But Dan,
yeah, I thought Montreal played pretty well.
Yeah, and Dan, you've always been a big MBT fan, and he played 30 of 40, 280, a touchdown and a pick. So, do you think MBT can build off this? Because this was a good game from him, but I still think he can play better.
It wasn't a perfect game from him. I think it was his best game in an LOX uniform for him. So I think it's a good building stone. And now he knows Alexander is going to be out for a little bit. He's going to take this team, right? So I think it's a building block for him. I bet Montreal play really good. Big sell to Montos. That's a great field goal. You can't really blame Calgary. The only thing I would be concerned if I were Calgary is her backup quarterback. If VA does get hurt more serious next time, or let's say you want to give a VA rest of the playoffs or whatever, that Walker, I believe his name is, he did not look very good.
Okay, but in PJ Walker's defense, that was his first regular season action in the CFL. And it was a weird situation for him. I didn't think Dave Dickinson did him any favors with some of the play calling towards the final end of that game. True. I'll be honest, I'm not overly concerned because when a backup starts too, there's a whole approach to it, right? They get all the first team reps. They get all the practice. They are able to get comfortable in the offense. I do think I'll be honest though, I don't see Calgary getting a chance to really rest VA going down the stretch of this year because I think Calgary and Saskatchewan are going to be neck and neck for first in the West all season.
Well, good point. Maybe that was a bad example.
I do get what you're saying though, more for. I wouldn't hit the panic button at all in Calgary. Although
no, I'm not hitting the panic button. I'm just saying I'm concerned. You look at Toronto, he's kind of struggled. Nick Arbuckle's played well last game. You look at BVT, he's played really well. You look at Cody Fajardo's played well. Even Jake Mary has this game in Saskatchewan. He played well. You got other backups playing well in the league. And I think I'm not feeling confident if Calgary's backup has to go in there. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think we've seen enough from him. He played some good preseason snaps. I wouldn't be too concerned. However,
I wouldn't be concerned either because you just took down the Bombers. You took down the Rough Riders. Well, now you got the Red Blacks coming off of this loss, so you come out and anticipate them coming out with a chip on their shoulder for this one.
In a 4-game stretch playing Saskatchewan, Montreal, and Winnipeg, you won 3.
Oh, I'm not concerned about the team, just that one position.
It's at the end of the day, Dan, it's a team sport.
Kind of like a backup goalie, right?
It's a team sport. But I think a team that I'd be very concerned about right now is the Edmonton Elks. They lost again to the Rough Riders. I will say, and I don't know if I'm going to get some arguments here from some people on the panel, I think Cody Fajardo was a lot better than Trey Ford.
Oh, 100%.
I agree.
I thought he looked
great,
very, very sharp.
I know some people on the island are not a big fan of Cody Fajardo, but I think he played well. I think you got to give him a chance. I've been saying it this whole time. I want Trey Ford to succeed more than probably anybody here, but at the end of the day, he wasn't succeeding. Right? It didn't look like he was fitting. It didn't look like I think he still has a lot of promise. I still think he has the talent to be a franchise quarterback. But at the end of the day, this is his first season sort of leading a team. He needs more experience. He needs more time. He still feels a little green in that starting role. And I think that he wasn't ready for it. And I still think he can be a good quarterback down the road, but I think it was time for a veteran quarterback to go in there and kind of, like I said, feel it out, feel up the issues, and then try to go back and mentor Trey Ford going forward on what he can improve in his game, because he may not see things that Cody Fajardo sees.
So my question is then, who are you starting next week if you're Edmonton? Are you going with Fajardo
I'd go Trey Ford.
You're going back to Ford.
Trey Ford, I'm telling you, Trey Ford plays very well.
Wow.
If you look at Trey Ford
Oh.
playing Hamilton the last 2 games,
Oh, boy.
he's been amazing. You got to remember, he almost completed that 40
I
point
think
comeback.
you've been maybe doing the other thing that we said we don't do on the island, because Cody Fajardo just went 26 for 33, 346.
Yeah, but look at Trey Ford's games against Hamilton. Like, he's amazing.
I would
he
say, though,
picks
but that's
apart
him.
Hamilton.
Okay, but I won't compare Hamilton to last year to this year. Last year, Hamilton was terrible for
Right.
2/3 of the year. This year, Hamilton is arguably the best team in the CFL. I think you got to go back to Fajardo. I think he earned another start, and I think he's your best chance of winning. I really do.
I'll just come out and say it, and maybe I'm bad. I get the CFL's rooting this guy because he's a nice guy, he's Canadian, and he's young, blah, blah, blah. I don't think he quite has it. I don't
agree with you there either.
I think he's like a college-level quarterback. You see college kids make all the highlight plays. That's what he reminds me of. He reminds me of big highlight plays when it comes to managing and leading and managing the clock and managing the offense and all of that. I don't think he quite has it. Maybe he'll get it in time, but right now he doesn't have it.
Because he had one bad game?
Yeah, dude, it's been more one bad game. I mean,
Dan, Trey Ford's stats aren't that bad. You were arguing with me earlier. Zach Clarles is a tier 1 quarterback, and Trey Ford's been better than Clarles this year.
Because the
difference is you have a good backup option in Edmonton. That's the difference. You have 2 starting quarterbacks in Edmonton, where Winnipeg right now you don't even have 1.
No, I get what you're saying, but to me it matters what you've done too. And Zach Clarles has got
he has one bad game where he had one stinker. Everyone has a one stinker.
Yeah, Dan, I'm not
for anyone's career.
Right now, the only reason why I'm saying Cody Fajardo is because I think he gives you your best chance to win.
It's not
and
one
with
stinker.
both,
It's been 3
hold
years.
on, let me finish. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me put a little sugar in it. Although I'm drinking sugar-free Fuse iced tea. We're not sponsored by Fuse iced tea, but we could be. And I got to say, right now, Edmonton, with BC losing, which get in that game a little bit, and Winnipeg losing, which get in that game in a little bit, Edmonton is still in the playoff race. So you have to put your best foot forward. Dan, you go, all you want. You said the exact same thing. I'm sure when the St. Louis Blues were dead last in the West, and then they went on to win the Stanley Cup that year. Cody Fajardo gives you your best chance to win right now. You have to worry about winning now. Let's say Edmonton loses the next 2 games, even if Cody Fajardo's playing well, both of them, I'm going back to Trey Ford to see if he's my guy or not. But right now, Edmonton still has a chance. And if you still have a chance, you have to put your best foot forward. And your best foot forward is Cody Fajardo.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I would start Cody Fajardo this week.
But you think Edmonton's out of it?
Kind of the same response as what Jacob said. I think once Edmonton is out, you have to play Trey Ford because, let's be honest, Cody Fajardo's not your future. He's probably gone next year, right?
But maybe he's not. Let's be honest. If you put
why is Cody Fajardo going to stay next year? You really keep saying that Trey Ford's the future.
Yeah, but Dan, let's say Trey Ford continues to underwhelm. Then maybe they cut Trey Ford and they sign Cody Fajardo to 2 more years.
That would make sense, yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I think right now, like truthfully, I don't even know if Trey Ford starts for the rest of the year. Maybe if they're losing, maybe you're bringing up some guys from the practice squad. You're doing something to try to find something that works. But right now, I think Edmonton's best chance to win is with Cody Fajardo at the starting QB
I would
position.
agree with that.
So if you have to look at that with your best chance to win, and Edmonton shockingly is not out of the playoff race, it's going to be tough. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I'm being honest. Winnipeg is playing some really bad football. BC is playing some inconsistent football. I actually don't think Edmonton's playing. I think Edmonton in some ways is playing really well. Edmonton's defense was the best I've seen it all year. I thought the running game has been terrible, which is a huge issue, which I think is more the offensive line at Edmonton.
Huge supplies, too.
I don't know. I think, though, Fajardo's your best chance if you're Edmonton.
You would think with Leak and Waken, you would have one of the best winning games in the league.
Yeah, but they had enough time to do anything.
But they have no
it's the O-line, 100%.
It's what I've always said. A running back is only as good as their O-line. Like a receiver is only honestly, the entire offense is depending on the offensive line, even though it's the lowest paid area in football. is your line, offensive and
it's
defensive
crazy.
line, which is crazy because they don't make the money, but without them, you're screwed.
Very true.
Quarterback makes all the big money, but we saw with Fajardo when he doesn't have an O-line, okay, he still managed to fight for every yard and put together a really close game. And again, big ups to Saskatchewan. They really took advantage of Edmonton's O-line struggling. And they pressured and pressured and pressured. And Trevor Harris, yet again,
8 times.
And Trevor Harris, yet again, had a phenomenal game going 25 for 33, 268, 2 TDs, and no picks. He's playing at a high level.
Best quarterback in the CFL right there.
He's not, in my opinion, at least. By the quarterback efficiency rating, Dan, you are correct, just because he's more accurate than Mitchell. I think that more has to do with the way these offenses are ran, and I still think Bo Levi Mitchell's best quarterback in the league.
I get Mitchell's going to build a big bombing 50-yard play, and maybe Harris hasn't done that in 10 years, but I still think with his accuracy, leadership, and time management, Harris is the best.
But Chesney, what do you think for Edmonton here? Like, would you be going back to Cody Fajardo?
Oh, I'm just getting my microphone fixed here. Back to Fajardo. I guess so. With the 346, he went 27 to 3. Yeah, I guess you would. Yes,
I think you have to. And if you're Saskatchewan, you just keep rolling the way you're rolling. Get Emelis the ball as much as you possibly can because he is your best receiver. Also, though, I think you got to give Keyshawn Johnson a lot of credit. He's really stepped up with the injuries. So I do feel if you're Saskatchewan, you just keep rolling the way you are rolling because he's playing. I mean, Saskatchewan is playing at a very high level, right? Like
who's out for Saskatchewan? Shaker Baker?
Schaefer Baker is, yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the best in the league. So,
but I mean, at the end of the day, the Rough Riders are finding ways to win, and the Toronto Argonauts found a way to win.
Yeah.
I
can say it. Argo.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was dying as soon as the Argo went. There go the Moore brothers on Facebook with their meme. Oh, here we go! Let's go, Argo! I'm like, oh yeah, they won one. They've patched one hole in their sinking ship, and all of a sudden it's let's go! It's the Grey Cup all over again.
Okay, no.
A Grey Cup.
I'm not saying that by any means. I'm saying
you
is
posted a song about a meme and a dance. Come on, bro.
That's because the Argos put on social media and it was funny, so I shared it. But we just have fun here on the island. We do, but I'm looking at Toronto, and I do feel this is the best game they played all season. All three phases played well. Liram Homoahu went 6 for 6 kicking field goals.
Yeah,
reached over 1,200 career points now as a Canadian football kicker.
Yeah.
Nick Arbuckle played his best game all year, going 22 for 31, 316, 2 TDs, no picks.
Great.
Ryan Dimwitty said they had to create chaos, and I mean using a Janarian Grant special teams specialist throwing a 41-yard pass to DeMonte Coxey, the first play of the game. That's chaos.
Yeah.
And it made a difference. I think it really, Winnipeg was like, what the bleep is going on? And you got to look at it. Winnipeg only put up 10 points of offense because one of their touchdowns was off an Argos fumble, which was a defensive touchdown. Mm-hmm. So, man, like Toronto played very well. Best game of the year. They got their running game going between LeBourne, McCann, and funny enough, Nick Arbuckle, 3 carries, 32 yards. So Nick Arbuckle was using his legs a lot more than he has all year. DeMonte Coxey going 6 receptions for 145 yards. DeVaris Daniels, 66 yards. Both of them got a touchdown. Ungerer had a big game. Matal is really turning into Mr. Reliable with 5 catches for 37 yards. Like they really spread the ball out well, created 4 turnovers. But as much as I feel Toronto played very, very well, I am going to say this. I think Winnipeg also played very, very bad.
And speaking of
Winnipeg,
what Sip did on Zach Collaros? Like, what happened? I missed some of it. So
I'm
what happened with
assuming
Zach
it's a
Collaros?
neck injury, and I know they say assuming makes an ass out of you and me, but he had an neck injury last week. Then he left after the first half, came back this week, went 5 for 10, 79 yards and 2 interceptions.
And then he just left, or did he get hit? Or?
Left, there was no hit. I don't know if the team just wanted to say an injury instead of saying they were going to pull him. I don't think so. Although I actually thought Strevler played better than Collaros. Strevler went 11 for 18, 148, and a touchdown.
They
I
played
wondered.
pretty
I was
well.
like, 'cause I remember
However,
they said he was going to play.
he did get it during garbage time.
I just remember because I remember they said Zach Collaros was going to play this week. They were confident in his health. And then when I tuned in the game, like, oh, Chris Strevler's in the game. I was like, oh, Zach Collaros is gone. So
They
I
also
wondered
did
what happened.
lose their kick returner in that game as well for Winnipeg. Now Winnipeg's lost 3 straight.
Wow.
And Oliveira too, he wasn't bad, but he wasn't phenomenal. 13 carries, 82 yards. You would think a game with Collaros struggling, Strevler in, I'm expecting a lot more out of Brady Oliveira than what I got. You tried a trick play with a fake punt and you couldn't get 5 yards out of it. It was just I almost
He had
feel
a
like
couple big plays.
they had 3 explosive plays all game. That's all it is. It's just not enough. For Winnipeg to win, they need explosive plays. And they didn't get them. Right? So I'm just waiting to kind of see where they go from here. So I want to ask a non-Argo fan this. For Winnipeg here, so this is either Lane or Chazzy. Where do you see Winnipeg going from here? Like, let's be honest. Yeah, Toronto beat them, but it's not like Winnipeg played well. So where are the fixes?
It's got to be a QB, right? Like, it feels like, I don't know. It's hard to say, right? Because, like, Brady Oliveira hasn't really been explosive this year. He has, and then he hasn't. It really feels like Zach Collaros hasn't really gotten going, but that could be because now injury. But even before the injury, you could argue he wasn't really getting going, especially after the whole suspension and coming back. He hasn't looked like the Zach Collaros that we're used to seeing, where he takes over the game and he's like a Bo Levi Mitchell, where you would think he's a tier. When we've had this conversation off camera, it's funny we can have it on camera, but you would think like Zach Collaros' numbers. You hear that name, you think tier 1 quarterback, you think Trevor Harris, you think Bo Levi Mitchell, you think he's in that category. You look at his stats and you're like, Trey Fort's playing better than Zach Collaros this year? And it doesn't really make sense, but when you look at the numbers don't lie, and that's just what it is. And then
We learned a very interesting video about numbers don't lie today.
And then you look at defensively, they're not doing well.
What video was that?
It just kind of feels like everything every aspect of their team is kind of not hitting where it needs to be. The defense isn't there. The receiving core without Kenny Lawler feels like it's fallen apart a bit. They haven't taken that step up. The guys that need to take the step up. Brady Oliveira is having a season. It just kind of feels like the Blue Jays last year, where it's like they have a good team, but the results aren't there. They're not. The team's there. I think the talent is there, but they're not getting the results.
I'm just going to say it. I think maybe this team's just getting too old.
Could be.
We've kept the same core together for a very long time. And I think, father time, mother time, whatever, whoever, whichever parent of time you'd like to speak to, catches up with you. And like you look at Nick Dembski, 4 targets, only 1 catch. Oliveira, 4 targets, 2 catches. Stearns was your best receiver at 7 targets, 4 catchers, 72 yards, and a TD. But and mind you, Toronto's defense played very well as well. Like, I want to give Toronto credit where credit's due. I felt their defense was their best defensive game of the year. But if I'm Winnipeg, honestly, I might be starting to hit the panic button right now.
Oh, 100%. I would,
especially if you end up losing to Toronto next week. If you lose to Toronto next week, and then you and Toronto are tied for that final playoff spot, and Toronto holds the season series. And even now, even if Winnipeg ties that game, they can't just tie. They got to win the point differential.
Well,
so they can't just win next week. They have to demolish Toronto next week. And I think that's a tall task.
I know Jacob says that. I know, Mr. Murray, you've said that trades don't really happen in CFL. But I'm going to throw it up there because I like chaos. I want your opinion, yes or no. I know you're going to say no. But let's play this game anyways. If Edmonton continues to fail, Zach Collaros isn't coming back anytime soon. Do we see Cody Fajardo to Winnipeg, or maybe even a Trey Ford?
Yes,
definitely not Trey Ford.
If you're Edmonton and you're like, we want to commit to Cody Fajardo, we don't really believe in Trey Ford anymore. You see a trade, or maybe Cody Fajardo, who's the backup's like, I don't see it. I can't win here, but I can go Winnipeg and win maybe.
Yeah,
I'm just throwing out there.
I was
I don't
going to throw it
know,
out
but I
there
throwing
too.
it
I
out
see it
there.
happening.
I don't see it happening, but I see your thought process.
Because they
But I
have
do
two
think as much
QBs,
as-
and they don't need two QBs.
True. I don't know, but I think maybe maybe Winnipeg's gotta this week, I would say in practice, have Troy Wilson and Chris Streveler both take first team reps because I think they'd be stupid to try to play Claros again next week. Clearly something is bugging him because I don't think he's this bad, right? So clearly something is not 100%. So let Chris Streveler and Troy Wilson duke it out in practice. Whoever plays better gets the start. Kind of like what Edmonton did with Ford and Fajardo. Say, look, you're both going to take team 1 reps. Whoever does the better job in practice this week will get the start.
I don't know. Do you think you got to give it a Strever at this point?
Streveler, Dan
He's been okay.
Streveler put up 7 points in 2 quarters.
Yeah, I mean, also flew 140 yards, and he did get 1 year wins.
If Trey Ford did that, you would be so
If
mad
Trey
at
Ford
him.
did that, you'd be going on he's the worst quarterback in the CFL history.
No, I honestly like Trey Ford. I was just very disappointed with him in his last game.
I agree
Okay,
with you,
calm down,
Jacob.
father of the CFL. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
That's right.
But
But no, I don't think anything one's earned it at this point of this rate. Winnipeg is falling apart. They are.
Kane, I'm gonna throw out a wild one here. Does Matthew Peters, the backup running back, need to start getting touches? He has your best running game of the year for Winnipeg. Where the one game Oliveira got hurt, he ran for I think 135 yards.
Why
I
not?
forgot about him. Yeah, he.
But why not
great.
give Matthew Peters some reps? And maybe Oliveira would be better if he's not trying to run the ball 15, 16 times a game. Because again, he's getting older. He's busy rescuing all those puppies. Like you gotta give the man a break, or at least give him a Kit Kat.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just
like
think
Kit
Winnipeg
Kats. Don't give
needs
me a
to.
Kit Kats.
They can't. I think after a 3-game losing streak, and I'm just going to call it out here, a 3-game losing streak where I think out of the 3 teams that were on these streaks, which would be like Toronto is on a losing streak, Edmonton's on a losing streak, Ottawa's on a losing streak, and Winnipeg's on a losing streak. I would argue Winnipeg is playing the worst right now out of those teams. Winnipeg's playing terrible.
Up for their standards, 100%.
Because like you expect Edmonton to kind of be You expected Toronto without Chad Kelly, which newsflash, you're not getting Kelly back for at least another 6 weeks.
Yeah,
I honestly don't even know if Chad Kelly's going to play this year.
Probably
I
not.
really don't. Now, it was interesting. Paul Lapalisse, and I don't know if he was supposed to say this or not, but he said he was talking to someone from the Argos organization and about them maybe just resting Kelly until closer to the playoffs, and if they can get into the playoffs, then just play him then.
LTIR.
But that's also risky.
LTIR.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, because when he's on the 6-game injured list, his salary doesn't go against cap. So it does give the Argos now some flexibility. Brings in about 500,000.
Maybe someone from Vegas called MLSC and be like, "Hey, here's what we do, Argos. Maybe try it."
Well, no, Chad Kelly's definitely injured, and because let's be honest here.
Conspiracy theories.
No disrespect to Nick Arbuckle, but if Chad Kelly is the starting quarterback right now, Toronto's fighting for first in the East.
I think the one that's more subject to injury being, don't want to say real, but legit, is Zach Collaros. Like with Chad Kelly, we did see his bone out of his leg. We all know that happened, and we all know that's going to take time. Zach Collaros, he's been injured in both games. He was playing really bad halfway through the game. So if we're calling this conspiracy theory on any of them, I'm not trying to call someone else saying fake injury, but if we're going to, I would say it's more Zach Collaros we have to look into more so than Chad Kelly. Chad Kelly wants to play.
Lane, I'm pretty sure Lane was kidding, bud. I'm pretty sure Lane's joking, bud.
We're keeping an eye.
Lane's joking?
Joking with a J.
Well, it's not going to be joking. Someone help him.
We're watching you, Winnipeg. Watching your every move. I know where you guys live. Actually, I don't. Well, I know you live in Winnipeg. Watch out. I'm kidding. I don't know.
That was terrifying. But at the end of the day, Toronto Argonauts are back in the playoff race.
I was kidding, by the way.
Winnipeg Blue Bombers. I don't think Zach.
I hope you're not joking.
Injuries either, Dan. I don't see Collaros. I don't think Claros is as bad as he's playing, so clearly he has an issue, and I think Winnipeg's just got to sit him.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And take the losses as you will.
Well, again, this goes back to the Davis Alexander conversation, right?
Right.
At what point are you going to and here's the thing, right? We talked about Chad Kelly. You made the argument to me, you got a lot of years left to Chad Kelly. Zach Collaros, last time I checked, Father Time's ticking here. I don't know how many more seasons of Zach Collaros you're going to get at his prime here.
Mm-hmm.
He's in that sort of in that boat. If I missed
that window,
that window where it's like, he's got maybe a few more years, but
unless you're Trevor Harris at 40 years old playing the best football of your life.
Still,
yeah.
But how long will that last? 1 year, 2 years?
No, I agree with you, Lane. I do, but
look at Wookie Way. He was in his 40s, and Damon Allen's in his 40s.
And if
Anthony Cavill was too.
And to Dan's point, if you keep playing him and he's getting worse, and you're risking whatever this injury, whether it's a concussion or a neck issue, whatever it is, even if it's playable at this age, you keep playing him, then he gets worse.
Mm-hmm.
How does that derail his career even more?
Right.
And then what do you kind of do? So at this point, it's like, I kind of agree with Dan. You got to be careful. I wouldn't just play Zach Collaros because you can play him. I'd be really careful of where you're putting him in the lineup right now.
Chazzy, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think with Winnipeg, I would almost argue next win's a must win for Winnipeg? Are you pushing Collaros to play even if let's say he's 70%?
No.
Or are you early in the season and you're going with one of your backups, especially a guy like Strevler who's a veteran?
Yeah, because I think you've mentioned earlier that Strevler is not too bad. So
he's not terrible.
Yeah. I think you got to get, if Collaros is hurt, you got to give him time to sort of heal other than trying to force the situation. And what they're under 500 now? What, they're 3-4?
No, I believe
3-3.
3-3.
3-3. So,
but the reason why I say it's a must win is because if they lose, then Toronto has the season series if it goes to a tiebreaker for the crossover position. And actually, like I said, even for Winnipeg, they don't just need to win; they need to almost win by double to at least tie the point differential.
And you also have BC hovering in the mix at 3-4.
3-5.
Oh, sorry, 3-5. And like you said, Jacob, Edmonton's only 2 wins away.
So that's mean we still have plenty of time left, but
well, you got Argos and then you got the Stamps again.
Yeah,
you got 8 days later, but
Winnipeg's got a tough road. They got a really tough road coming up. And actually, I'm going to say this too. No disrespect to Toronto, but I think Winnipeg is better to rest Collaros against Toronto to try to have him back for against Calgary.
I agree with that. Yes.
I don't think you can beat Calgary with Chris Strevler. I think you can beat Toronto with Chris Strevler.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If your defense and running game plays up to its ability, I think, now mind you, the defense has not been as good this year as it's been other years, and so neither is the running game. But
that's what I don't get. I'll say it before I say it again. You're hosting the Grey Cup this year. You did not use all your cap space, and you let Adam Big Hill walk, and you're struggling on defense. Can someone please explain to me the logic of any of this?
No, Adam Big Hill they knew he was going to be injured in the year, and he's still injured. But being Adam Big Hill in Calgary just brings some veteran leadership, and that's what I think Winnipeg is currently missing right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we do see teams making late additions. We saw Toronto bring in Shane Richards. Chazzy's favorite player, Sean Lemon's going to be back from his suspension next week for Montreal. So hold your bets, everyone. I kid. We'll just drink some lemonade with them.
Well, here's $1 million question. Okay, so
no, Dan, don't make a bet.
No. I was just going to say, you're not going to bring Big Hill back as he injured, fine. But don't you at least spend up to the cap and bring someone in?
You should have.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't go out and get an Alex Hollins or something up for the receiving core, especially now with Dalton Schoen hurt. You don't have Pokey Wilson anymore because he's in the NFL. Kenny Lawler's in Hamilton, who, although Kenny Lawler didn't have a great game on Sunday night, still a best receiver in the CFL right now.
He's a difference maker.
He's a difference maker. But let's actually move on to that game between Hamilton and BC. And BC did what everyone said they can't do. They shut down Kenny Lawler. It did not matter.
Yeah.
I think you need a combination of like shutting down Kenny Lawler, but remembering he's not the only player on the field. We saw the play of the year from Robert Carter Jr. with the one hand Superman, Spider-Man, Spider-Man, whatever you want to call
Soldier
it.
Boy, tell them.
With I think that's going to be the play of the year, even though it's only week 8 and there's 21 weeks. 21?
Is it the play in CFL history?
It's got to be up there just on an overall skill level. I mean, it's got to be a frustrating. You make an interception like that and you don't win.
Yeah.
But
It saved a touchdown.
But Hamilton, again, found a way to win. They've now won 5 straight, and they just found a way to win. They're healthy. They're rolling. Honestly, I think this was their worst defensive game during this 5-game winning streak. But the defense came up with a big stop when they were down by 3. They got a quick 2-and-out to give Mitchell all the time in the world to drive down the field. So the defense made enough plays tonight. And we always talk about how teams, they don't always have to play a great game. They just need to make the big play in the big moment. And that's what I think it was for Hamilton on Sunday night. They made some big plays at big moments to get this dub. And funny enough, I called Hamilton winning, which made me vomit a little bit. But now Hamilton is tied with Montreal for top in the East. They're actually slightly ahead of them because they beat them. And Hamilton's playing at a really high level.
You talk about vomiting.
Really concerned about this defense. If I'm BC, I'm very concerned about this defense.
You talk about vomiting. The what this game reminded me of as an Argo fan is, when you get really bad heartburn, like for example, Lane, when you didn't have Galveston, I bring you back Galveston. You get really bad heartburn, and you feel it all coming up, and it's burning your throat, but you just catch it in time so you don't vomit it up. And that's what tonight was like if you're an Argos fan cheering for Hamilton. But hey, they got it done. And I remember even sitting there with 4 minutes to go left of the game, watching it with Jacob, and I'm like, bro, even when we're cheering for Hamilton, they still can't get it done because they were down by 10, and they came back and won the game. That was a phenomenal, expert leadership drive done by Bo Levi Mitchell. Almost said Bethel Thompson, I caught myself. Done by Bo Levi Mitchell. And Kenny Lauer, we said it all night. He only had 2 catches all night. But when the O-line deflected that pass and the ball was hanging there and it could have easily been intercepted by Vancouver, BC, I should say, Lauer catch that weird ball to keep the drive going, which ended up getting the win. And that's what I say. That's when you see boys versus men, and watching Hamilton versus BC, that's what I felt like. I felt like men versus boys.
I don't completely agree with you on that because I do think BC played a good game. I just think BC's defense just got to get a little tighter.
BC played a great game.
I'm going to call out one player on the defense in BC, and that's Matthew Betts. He is one of the highest paid defensive linemen in the CFL, and he's done absolutely nothing all year.
Yeah.
He's been boring. He's just been yelling at referees and flopping around. And he's supposed to be this elite pass rusher, almost made the NFL last year. And ever since he's came back to the CFL, he just hasn't had that same spunk. Like Nathan Rourke, it's taken him a while. But I think Nathan Rourke is finally starting to look like the Nathan Rourke that won Most Outstanding Canadian his rookie season.
Oh, yeah.
Nathan Rourke is looking good. Like, whether you like him or not, he's playing well, which I know, Dan, you do not like him, but numbers don't lie. People do. You're a person, so you're a liar. I'm kidding. But Nathan Rourke is playing at a very high level
I agree, Jacob,
I'll just say straight up right here, right now. What BC did, they played a very good game. The defense guy there, Quas, what's his name? Not Quas.
Carter.
Anyway, BC's a good team. I'm allergic to it. That's how far off it is. Carter made the best player of the year. But you know how to describe this game? Same with Alexander Montreal. It was all very cute. And at the end of the day, BC will make the playoffs. York will choke and not get it done. He's like
I
the
disagree.
Austin Matthews of the CFL.
Dan, I'm sorry. You know what, Dan? I'm going to make you furious right now. And you are completely hypocritical to call Nathan Rourke a playoff choker and not Chad Kelly. He
What?
played the worst playoff game I have ever watched.
He won the Grey Cup down by 10 as a backup.
First of
He
all,
goes in there and yards 25 yards and wins the Grey Cup against Winnipeg, bro.
Move away from your mic.
That's how angry I am.
I don't care. I'm calling you out. If you're going to say
No.
you're going
I
to
wish
say
I could mute your mic.
you're judging Nathan Rourke's playoff ability off one game in Winnipeg. I could judge Chad Kelly's playoff ability by one game against Montreal when he
got injured.
Not the game he got injured, the year before, silly Billy, where he said it was the worst game of his career and he was embarrassed.
Yeah,
His words, Dan. And
but he did win a Grey Cup.
I'm not calling Chad Kelly a choker.
But he won the Grey Cup. Nathan Rourke hasn't won
the Grey
anything.
Cup by coming in and making a few plays. Yes, he
did. When he was losing.
He hasn't won a Grey Cup by playing a full game yet. It's not the same.
Oh,
it's not BS. It's not BS. It's not. It's not the same.
Yeah, but you know who's not a playoff choker? Bo Levi Mitchell. And right now, Bo Levi Mitchell is probably, and after this game, you can even make the argument he might be the best quarterback right now in the CFL, maybe behind BA. But man, today was that just such a masterclass. That just felt like a typical football game where there's 2 minutes on the clock, and it's like you're watching the Kansas City Chiefs, and it's like, well, this game's over. No, I'm being serious. It just felt like a veteran quarterback with time left on the clock, and you're like, it's like Tom Brady with 2 minutes left, or when it was Patrick Mahomes with 2 minutes left. It felt like that kind of game where you're just like, yeah, there's way too much time on the field. And of course, BC was not playing properly. They made zero adjustments on that whole drive, and Bo Levi Mitchell was just like, yoink, 10 yards, yoink, 10 yards, yep, yoink, 10 yards. Okay, just give me a cap. He just made 10-yard throws. That's all he had to do. Down the field, doop, in the end zone. Game over almost at the buzzer. Mm-hmm. Incredible.
I'm saying, no, you can't blame this game on Nathan Rourke.
No, I'm not blaming it on Nathan Rourke. I'm not.
Yes, you are. And you can't, because Bo Levi Mitchell just put on a masterclass in the last 2 minutes and gave.
That was insane.
Was there anything that BC could have done to hold that?
Yeah, they could have drastically changed. They just kept dropping. They kept dropping 8 back, 20 yards, and then Mitchell was just like, okay.
Chazzy, they thought every play was going to be a 40-yard long bomb for the entire drive.
Which need to be, because they had 2 minutes on the clock.
They would just leave a Hamilton, like literally every single play. There'd be one Hamilton receiver like at the first down line just standing there and be like, hey, I'm wide open.
Give the ball. Okay. Yay!
Fall down.
Even the final touchdown play, do you know how many people BC put in coverage?
None.
One.
0.
To cover 4 receivers, because they just assumed they were going to run the ball. They didn't run the ball, and Mitchell just went. It was literally the easiest drive I've ever seen for a game-winning drive. Yeah, Bo Levi Mitchell put on a masterclass, but BC, talk about choking in a game. That defense completely choked.
Oh, yeah, I'm not blaming Nathan Rourke for this game at all. I thought he played a very good game. I think this game was lost under defense. And I also think BC's offense should have used the running game more, because the running game was phenomenal in the first half of Buckler getting 2 touchdowns, 80 yards in the first half. I thought he was going to win the whole game himself. And then he ends up the game with 115, so he only won for 25 yards in the second half. I mean, that's your offense coordinator's fault, right?
45, not 25, but yeah.
No, 80 and 115 is 25.
It's not, Dan, but I'm not
35, but
35. Yeah. Neither one of us are right. Lane is right.
Yeah.
Dan, what's 80 plus 20?
Okay, it's 35. I get
What's 80 plus 20, Mr. Calculator?
It's 35. Lane's right.
But you weren't right either. You know what? After all these games happened. Oh, another quick note for player injuries. You've got to talk about it during the Calgary portion. Mary Alford. Yeah, Mary Alford from Calgary. He did not practice at all on Sunday. So who knows if he's going to play or not? And Clark Barnes did not either. So those are, and neither did Jalen Philpott. So hopefully those were just maintenance days.
That's pretty
Sunday
scary if you're
practices.
Calgary because you have Binghamton out too.
Sunday practices on short weeks are usually not at it's.
Plus,
It's kind
all
of
your
like an
wide
optional.
receivers gone.
So hopefully by the time we do our next podcast, we know more on what's going on with those studs. But just to recap your standings, you have Saskatchewan with 12 points, first in the West. Calgary right behind them with 10. Winnipeg and BC, 6 points each respectfully. Winnipeg only played 6 games. BC has played 8. Therefore, BC is in 4th. Edmonton is still in the doghouse with a record of 1-5. Moving over to the East, Hamilton Tiger Cats, first in the East, 5-2, 10 points.
Yeah, baby.
Second team in the East, Montreal, 5-2. Hamilton currently owns the tiebreaker because they won the game over them. Then you have Toronto moving past Ottawa for third with their second win of the year at 2-5. Then you have the Ottawa Redblacks, who did not play this week, so they are sitting at 1-6 still. So that brings me to the Jacob Moore self-proclaimed sports analyst power rankings.
Exciting.
And I am ready for you guys to fight me on this because I've changed this up. I have 2 teams ranked at number 1 because I think they're dead even right now.
How do you have 2?
1 and 1A. Saskatchewan and Hamilton are 1 and 1A. Saskatchewan and Hamilton are 1 and 1A.
You can make that argument. I could see that.
Yes, Saskatchewan has 1 more
disagree.
win, but the Hamilton Tiger Cats have won 5 straight. That's got to mean something.
I totally disagree.
I don't care.
Like, Saskatchewan's got the best record. Saskatchewan's only lost 1 game. And you even said yourself, even though Hamilton won, they didn't play their best game.
They still found a way to win, Dan. Hamilton's on a 5-game winning streak. In football, that's huge. It's like in hockey, winning 5 weeks straight of hockey games.
Oh, I get it. I'm not taking it away from them.
There's
But
tied.
if they've lost 2 games, Saskatchewan only lost 1.
I don't care. That's my role.
Okay.
Montreal is third best team in the league.
Yeah.
Then I go Calgary. As much as Calgary lost to Montreal, I still put
He's
Calgary.
not happy, you know.
Yeah.
Calgary, we will see what happens next week. But after that loss, putting up 0 points in the 4th, you did see a gaping issue with this team that without Vernon Adams Jr., they don't know what to do offensively. So I have them at 4th.
their wide receivers being all injured, that could be a factor too going in next week.
Number 5. I was debating between the BC Lions and the Toronto Argos, but the Lions have more wins, so I put the BC Lions. And I felt the BC Lions had a tough game this week against Hamilton. So BC's at 5. Some people may think this is Argo bias. I don't think it is. I moved the Argos ahead of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and moved them up to 6. Because I think Montreal, they played a very, very good game, although they lost it in the 4th quarter. I think out of the last 8 quarters, they played 7 almost perfect quarters. So I moved them to 6. Number 7, Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Yeah.
You've won 3. You've lost 3 in a row. You're playing terrible. You're bad. Number 8, Edmonton Elks. I did feel Edmonton gave Saskatchewan everything they had, which for me makes me feel they're slightly better than the Ottawa Redblacks, who I know didn't play this week, but I'm thinking even back to their last game, Ottawa did not play nearly as well as Edmonton played against Saskatchewan this week. At the end of the day, taking Saskatchewan to a 1 possession game, going down to the wire, I think Edmonton's got to earn a little bit of moxie for that and move them up a spot.
Yeah, I would agree.
I agree with that part of it.
But Dan, why? I don't understand, besides of you not liking the Hamilton Tiger Cats, why you're so angry. It's okay, I'll be honest. I was debating on putting Hamilton 1, Saskatchewan 2. I really
It's not that I'm angry. I totally respect your decision. I just don't agree with it. If I was me, I would put Saskatchewan number 1. I'm not even a huge Rough Riders fan or anything, but to go this far in the year only losing 1 game is pretty impressive. And even though Hamilton and Montreal have the same record, and even though I don't like Hamilton personally, I agree at this point Hamilton's a better team than Montreal because Hamilton has won 5 games straight, and Bo Levi Mitchell looks like a man on missing, and David Alexander is injured. So I would put Hamilton 2, Montreal 3, Calgary 4, unfortunately, just because we lost to Montreal.
Well, I already know where this. I already know what's coming here.
Jacob says,
Argo.
no, they'll be finished. And
Oh.
Jacob said, it is a gaping point with the backup quarterback. I was wanting to point that out. And I disagree with you with the Argos, Jacob. I would pick Winnipeg at 6. Because
Winnipeg is terrible.
They made a Grey Cup 5
I would
years
almost
in a
argue
row.
right now Edmonton's playing better than Winnipeg over the last 3 weeks.
They've won 3 games. The
Who
Argos have looked.
cares? They're playing terrible.
The Argos looked great The Argos was great last game. I love them, but I
They
still
also
think
looked
at
really
this
good against
point,
Montreal. I know they lost, but they looked really good.
I
against
think
Montreal.
the big test for the Argos and the Winnipeg and this whole ranking list in general is next week because you have Toronto versus Winnipeg. If Winnipeg can beat, if Toronto can beat Winnipeg back to back, then Toronto really proves it better than Winnipeg.
But Dan, you're forgetting one thing too, though.
What?
Probably no Zach Collaros.
No, I hear
Toronto
you.
doesn't have Chad Kelly. That's no excuse.
Yeah,
No excuse.
that's kind of how I feel like that. Yeah,
Like I would put the Argos at bed because it's like at the end of the day, I would rather have Nick Arbuckle than Chris Trevor.
So you're putting the Argos ahead as a Ticats fan.
Yeah.
Wow.
100%.
I'm putting the Argos behind as an Argo fan.
Yeah, but Dan, I'm just
Winnipeg
going by.
sucks.
Okay, I'll be honest with you. When I'm doing my power rankings, it is not fully on records. It's about the play on the field.
I hear what
Winnipeg
you're
sucks.
saying.
Right?
I'm just
that's
giving
why
you.
I almost put BC lower than 5. Just because I'm like their defense is so bad, but I'm like their offense is really good. So
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about BC. So after Calgary,
you already had.
I
BC
would put
there.
BC at 5,
You already said that.
Okay.
and then Winnipeg at 6,
You're wrong.
Argos at 7th, Edmonton at 8, Ottawa at 9. I know Ottawa didn't play, so it's kind of unfair playing them last. But I do agree with you, Edmonton. Yeah, even take Cody Fajardo, LA pitcher. This is the first time Edmonton's defense showed up against Saskatchewan this week. So even though Edmonton lost, I feel like they have to go up in the rankings because they made it close again.
But that's my whole point with these rankings. I do them a little bit differently than other people.
I know,
don't
and
just
I
go
do
by the
too.
record, which is why, for me, Hamilton and Saskatchewan are dead even right now.
To
Yes,
me, you
Hamilton
can't
is
have
lost.
a tie in a power ranking,
I can do
bro.
whatever
Come
the hell
on.
I want. Hamilton, yes, has one more loss.
Well,
than
may as well give it
Saskatchewan.
a nine-way tie and give everyone participation ribbons and all that
That makes
stuff,
absolutely
bro.
no sense, Dan. There's no way you can argue Ottawa's as good as Saskatchewan. You can
Well, that's what I'm
argue.
saying. Having
You can
two top
argue
teams. Are you going to
Hamilton.
split the Grey Cup in half this year? Meow. Here you go.
Power rankings are not the standings. They're two different entities.
No, I know. I'm just saying what the Grey Cup wins because you think there's 2 best teams in the league. You're going to split the Grey Cup in half. Okay, 112-year tradition. We're splitting in half this year, 2025. Here you go. Here's your half. Here's your half. Have a nice life.
Then Hamilton would be 1999 because they'll win it this. They'll get their half this year. That's why I like this idea.
Dan,
And I want the year
you're
1999 for
missing the
Dan every
point.
year.
The power rankings are not saying who I think will win the Grey Cup. The
I
power
hear that.
rankings are saying right now what teams are the best teams. And right
And most
now,
weeks, I sit here and nod my head and I agree with you. Most weeks, I do. This week, I don't agree.
but right now, I think right now you could argue Hamilton's better than Saskatchewan. They've won 5 in a row. Their last
Okay,
loss.
Saskatchewan's won 6 all year.
So first of all, stop screaming into your microphone and killing all our viewers' ears. Number 2, Hamilton has not lost since week 2. Hamilton is pretty much blowing the doors off. Besides at BC, they're blowing the doors off everyone they play. Hamilton beat Toronto and Ottawa both by such a big margin it was embarrassing for both Toronto and Ottawa. Hamilton currently. I'm just going to go over some. I
Pretty
cannot
sure they have
believe
the
I'm
highest-
defending the Hamilton Tiger Cats this much. This
Pretty
is
sure
really
they have the
hurting me.
most points of all the CFL
But
teams.
okay, Hamilton over the last 3 games has scored 37, 30, 23, 51. And oh yeah, against Montreal, they put up 35.
Talk about
Their
young
last loss was
years.
to the Rough Riders. And it was a 28-23 game when Lawler
Whoa.
and Mitchell weren't quite connected yet.
Be an interesting rematch now. I'll say that.
Yeah,
It will be, which we will see that on Dan's birthday on August 16th. I still say Lane should buy us all plane tickets. But no, that's why I have it there the way I do, because I think these two teams are dead even right now. So that's why I have them as 1 and 1A.
Well, what do you think, Chazzy?
Hey, in horse races, there's a slot for the 1 or the 1A. So I like
it.
Whiskey for my man, beer for
Beer
my
my horses.
horses. But yeah, those are my power rankings. Now I'm sticking to it. Dan can try to argue with me until he's bluer than his Argo jersey. But
I'm with you on the Argos over the. Even though it pains me to say it, I do agree with the Bombers being lower than. I think the Blue Bombers are just bad.
I'm gonna put it this way too.
You got killed by Calgary back-to-back weeks. You got killed by the Toronto Argonauts. You're just bad.
I'd still have Calgary 3.
Oh, interesting.
My opinion on Montreal skewed by the suspended player coming back for.
Yeah, but you know what, Chazzy? I could see the argument between, because I think Calgary probably wins that game if VA doesn't get hurt, and if Calgary wins, I'm probably putting Montreal at 4. So, yeah. You know what, Chazzy? I don't think you're out to lunch saying Calgary's the 3rd best team. Like, if you told me Calgary's better than Saskatchewan or Hamilton, I'd be like, no, they're not right now.
As long as I'm not taking tickets at the circus, I'm okay.
Well, do what, Chazzy? Do you have a good point with having Ledman coming into Detroit? It could shake up the dressing room because there might be some players that don't, I think, like you, and don't agree with Ledman coming back into the league, right? And that could be his own teammates. Like we don't know. So it could shake up the dressing room for sure.
Yeah, it could, because, you know, he did bet on his own games. So I think that's always going to be the back of people's minds.
And he failed the drug test, too.
Yeah, but he failed a drug test. Well, I thought that drug test was kind of BS, to be honest.
At least it's
you failed a drug test while you're suspended and can't play. Like, that made no sense.
Like, Jacob, you never pick up your phone. You would be suspended in CFL.
Yes, fans will pick up more on betting on your own team and league than they would on, because it's been in their face for so long now, right? So,
however, you know what I would say,
Chazzy, it's bad for Montreal re-signing him.
For me as a fan, now I have that in the back of my mind by you guys telling me that. I'm sorry, I can't. Now I'm saying, oh, did he have money on it? Like, that's just naturally in the back of my mind now when I'm watching the game. And I think for serious bettors, or even the ones that are dabbling in and betting their money, that has to go through their mind if they're on the losing end of any which game that they're involved in.
However, I will say one thing. I do think the one positive. Now I know there's not a lot of positive, because this is becoming an issue in sports as players getting caught. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the baseball, but that one was crazy. You guys know what I'm talking about? The Cleveland Guardian pitcher, where he threw the ball. He threw the ball like literally like 40 feet away from his catcher, and then got a bet in, and then the next pitch he had to get a 7-pitch walk, and he got the strikeout, and he swore because he literally threw his glove like, I took the guy out. It's like,
wow.
But the one thing that I will say about all this is that the one thing, not long ago he got suspended. But my point, this is what was going my point. I do think the one positive is that they are catching it now, right? Wow. Whereas compared to like in the 90s and the early 2000s when players did it, it was a lot harder to catch. Like, you know, especially when Michael Jordan bet on his own games, right? Or some of these athletes, you don't know who's betting. You never know who's betting on what. Really.
True,
we don't. But I will say I feel like now with the technology they have and how they're able to check bets and see them and cancel them, like especially they're able to avoid a bet like that, it is so much harder. I think I could be wrong. I just have a feeling like they're catching players left, right, and center here. They're way more on it. It seems like when a player does try to do it, they don't really get away with it. I could be wrong in that, but just my opinion.
No, you're close, because it's like a syndicate of, like, they can tell how much money's on, especially with player props. And if a player gets hurt and they're either under and there's a lot of money on that player, that's what they've been looking into. And I think that's what happened to that pointer for the Raptor player. When he was hurt, there's a lot of action on him not to get so many points. Something on the lines of that, and that's how sort of they caught up, and how they're now going back to some of these games and to some of these trends going to video of like, I don't know, like
And also,
I don't think that, like I said, this is not the last time. It's going to be more.
it's going to be,
but at the end of the day, it's when you bet on your own team and league. Like I said earlier, Pete Rose, even though he denied it for however many years, he was not in the Hall of Fame because of that. And now we're just sort of like brushing, he's done his time. Like, if he bet on another league or another sport that he was not involved in, okay, well, that's the sport. Suspend him. He did his 2 years. He did his time. I get that. But I think this just goes a little bit deeper, and I don't know.
Well,
it's just hard when,
Like I said, it's in my mind now.
it's just hard when, but I will admit, it is hard when you see, when you're watching these games, right? And it's just, you guys know it, every 5 seconds, it's like, oh, have you put on the money line?
Well, now with that too, it's in your face. It's in your face. It's in your face.
Now that's going to change.
Edmonton literally wears a gambling ad on their jersey.
Now that's changing in Canada. The CRTC is starting to be like, you can't have gambling ads every 6.7 seconds.
Oh, really?
And that is going to be changing starting, and I believe it's 2026. So watch out for that midway through the NHL season.
Not just gambling, like even if I put a streakers rivalry against Montreal and I don't get my streakers point, I would be like, well, what happened, Mr. Lemon? You owe me.
It's going to be in the back of everyone's mind for sure. But I do think it's time we move on to the Toronto Blue Jays. And you're saying, oh yeah. I mean, I think I kind of think there was like the Kool-Aid man kicking down the door because the Jays played terrible on Sunday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay, but just hear me out a little bit here. I'm backtracking on something I said a couple days ago about thinking that the Jays maybe need to leave things alone. Maybe this bullpen does need a little bit of an upgrade. Because Chad Green, his last 2 times coming in, has looked really bad.
3 times, I would say.
As soon as they put in Chad Green, I literally looked at Dan. I'm like, oh, no, game's over. And then I fell asleep. And then they lost. Because Chad Green...
nothing, but you were right.
Chad Green only got through 0.2 of an inning, 3 hits, 3 earned runs. Then you have Justin Burhill. I apologize. I pronounced your name wrong. 0.1 inning, 4 hits, 3 earned runs. I feel so bad for Scherzer.
Oh, what
Scherzer
played outstanding.
Happy birthday, Scherzer! 41 years old.
Best start as a Jay this year, like by far.
I really hope you're not that concerned. Like, I've been watching this team.
I'm not concerned about the team. I'm a little concerned about the bullpen. Maybe we just need a little bit of depth. Just maybe that's what I'm saying at deadline, because deadline's coming up, right? It's this Thursday, I believe.
Thursday, yeah.
And maybe the Jays do look to add another, maybe just 1 or 2 relief pitchers, just to kind of. I want to ask you guys this, because you guys follow baseball more than I do. Could you guys see in a shorter series someone like Scherzer coming in relief? Let's say your starter goes 5 innings, bring in Scherzer to try to get you through the next 4.
Well, that's the thing I'm thinking. Really.
Am I out to lunch?
No, because I think what they're basically saying, from what I've heard from the analysts, is that the Jays are trying to. Yeah, they're basically saying that the Jays are going to be targeting a starting pitcher here, and what would happen was maybe you get Scherzer in the bullpen, and another guy who's working his way back, who I know everyone. When I say this, I get a lot of weird looks, especially at the grocery store. But I think there's a guy who's going to be a really good addition to this bullpen when he comes back, and that is Mr. Alex Manoah.
Oh, yeah.
No. I agree.
I don't whatsoever. Ever since the pitch clock, he sucks.
No, he can't. He got better.
He can't pitch on a pitch clock.
Well, I don't know what games.
I don't care about what he did in AAA. It's not the same.
Coming out of the bullpen
before his recent injury, when he came back the third time, because the pitch clock, he was bad.
That's like saying I believe Stuart Skinner is going to win the Oilers a Stanley Cup this year.
If you look at
3 times the charm.
Look at his stats though. Like, he actually did figure it out before the Tommy John surgery. He started games and he was winning a bunch of games. He was. I'm not making it up. You can look at the stats. He started winning games and his ERA, his strikeouts were up, his ERA was down, and then he had an unfortunate injury.
I'd be just very leery on a guy who's barely played all year to be my saving grace for my.
He doesn't have to be saving grace. He can pitch 2 innings.
Exactly. Yeah.
But what if there are 2 innings that you desperately need in the playoffs? I almost argue that your bullpen's more important than your starters is.
Or you do it
not just as much.
Or you do what you did with there was a guy in the Jays bullpen I used to like. He unfortunately he didn't work out, but his name was Nate Pearson. You could also put Manoah in that role where you bring him in like kind of like if you're up by 8 runs, you bring him in, see what happens. If you're down by 8 runs, you see him. You kind of evaluate the talent there, and then if you see we put him in for 3 innings, he's rocking, he's killing it. Then maybe you try him in a shorter role when it's a bit tighter, but to get him into the season, you can play him when you're up by when the Jays are going off and teeing off on somebody and they're up by nothing. Put Manoah in for 2
The problem is, Lane, your deadline's Thursday to make a decision. I don't think there's enough time to make that decision.
No, but I'm just saying you're still getting him. Like
I get that, but I don't
he's
think
still someone
who's
accessible.
I don't think I would rely on that when my deadline is this week. Let's say Alek Manoah was coming back 2 months ago. Then I would totally get what you're saying. I actually think, and you guys might think I'm crazy here, I think the Jays' expectations keep getting higher and higher, and I think people are thinking World Series with this team.
No.
Yes. Why not? They're the best team in the MLB. Why not? Their record in the last 2 months are the best team in the league.
Because they don't have any playoff success like with this group ever.
I don't care. You can't.
I don't know about World Series, but
no. But I'm saying though, you feel I'm not saying World Series are bust. I'm saying people feel this team has a chance to win the World Series.
They can't.
I'm saying there's a chance with this group.
Well, there's a chance of Columbus win the Stanley Cup next year too.
Let me finish. And you laugh about that. Everyone said Florida wouldn't do it when they did. You didn't when Florida went to the Stanley Cup Finals after being down 3 games to Boston. You told me they were going to get swept that series.
Well, yeah.
Get absolutely wrecked. So what I'm getting at is when you're looking at the Jays, it's not all the time you see a team that you think is actually getting everything together. And this team is. For the most part, they're getting the hits when they need it. They're getting the defensive stops when they need it. When they need a big play, this team is making it. I don't think this is the year you go, oh, Manoah might be okay. He might be dog poop. Oh, well, your team is playing above what you expected. So this is the year you have to go out and get some pitching. If they're rental players, that's fine. Because right now, I'll be honest, I don't think George Springer is going to continue to play this good next year and the year after because he's getting old. I think Badger is playing way above what he's expecting. I think Straw is playing better than he's expecting. I think Schneider is hit and miss. No one expected Nathan Lucas to be playing this well. This could be your last year with Bo Bichette because you don't have a deal yet. This is the year to make a move to try to go on a run. I'm not saying that they're a guarantee. I'm not.
Yeah, that.
Look, I get the odds aren't. I'm not saying the Jays are the odds favorite, but they're probably a middle pack team that could do it. Like they've been beating the Yankees this year. They've been beating the Red Sox this year. They're winning in their own division. If they can get the bye out, if they can win the division and not have to play in the wild card.
Also, I gotta admit, that game yesterday, I was so impressed with that game yesterday. I when I was listening to the radio, I was like, okay, we've won. We're facing literally the best pitcher in the American League. I was like, this game we're not going to win. But what was I wrong? 10 strikeouts from Kevin Gausman. Holy moly! For the second time in a row,
he's playing so well. I think this is the year. I'll ask you guys: are there good either? Is there a really good starting pitcher or a really good bullpen guy available right now?
Well, they just lost one. That's unfortunate. With a little bit of not really breaking news, but I can break the news on this podcast. Seth Lugo from the Kansas City Royals re-signed, so that's a hit. I'm looking at a guy like Joe Ryan. I don't know if they can get him. Joe Ryan would be fantastic for the Blue Jays. Great starting pitcher, great strikeout guy. He comes in, he puts up strikeouts like it doesn't matter. He's strikeouts at least 7 guys a game. Another guy I would love the Jays to get. I don't think they'll get him, but if they did, I would be happy. Is Johan Duran, 100-mile-an-hour fastball pitcher. He doesn't throw a lot of pitches, but he does throw above 100-mile. And I find the Blue Jays do not have a 100-mile-an-hour.
They don't.
Fastball pitcher. I really think getting a guy that can come in. Another guy that you might look at and he plays on the Orioles, but I don't know if they will trade for him because, again, You never trade with someone in your division, so that's probably not happening. But another guy I would look at is Felix Bautista. Felix Bautista is another guy who is a closer. He comes in, he throws 100. He throws a lot of heat. I still have my wish list for a hitter, Carlos Santana. And I'm being dead serious. I think that would be such a good hitter. That guy's burned us more times in the plus than I can count. He's not a fantastic hitter. He's not someone who's going to blow your socks off. But I've always found he's a switch hitter. He does hit the odd home run when you need him to. He does hit key situations, clutch situations. I know we'll never get him. I'd be so happy. I'd buy that jersey so fast. I've been a fan of him his whole career. There's some guys I think the Jays can get. Will they get him? I don't know. We'll see. But then you got to ask yourself: are they going to trade future pieces and like Rick Tiedemann? Are they going to trade some of these prospects like Orvels Martinez? Are they going to trade Rick Tiedemann? Are they going to trade these people and try to risk it? Or are they going to use the team atmosphere and be like, hey, we're a team that's clicking. Maybe we don't touch it. Maybe we just get one guy. Like you've been saying.
Yeah. Sorry.
I don't know
What
if
do you
it's
mean?
worth
The
it.
Jays are right now are in the top 7 in the odds to win the World Series right now.
Wow.
Well, yeah, because they're one of the best teams.
Well, I know, but that's kind of my point. I think if there was any year you were going to sell some of the farm to bring in someone to do it, Bichette's contract's coming up. I'm sorry, it's still not re-signed, so we have to assume he's not coming back. And
it's just crazy. He's probably having his best year right now.
This is the year you have to go for it.
I didn't know he was third in hits. That's crazy.
You have to go for it right now. I think this is the year you fill the gap in your bullpen, whether it's you bring in a starter so you can move Scherzer to the bullpen, or you bring in a pitcher or two to fill out your bullpen. And you go for it this year. And if that means you give up a good prospect, I think you do. I think this is the time to do it. But Dan, go ahead.
Just something I want to point out. I'm sorry, Streakers Island. I don't know all the other baseball teams the way Chazzy and Lane do. I know more the Blue Jays.
They literally go to their houses for dinner.
Oh, yeah, but I don't know the whole league.
My dinners have been pretty good lately. They've been like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, actually.
Ooh. There you go. Get it all toasted up. But toasted buns. But I will say, I think one issue they could have, no one's really talking about, is Alejandro Kirk. Unfortunately, he had a ball hit him in his helmet. Was one of like a good fastball, probably 95, 90 miles an hour. And he was labeled with a concussion. Now, I know Heiberman is a great backup catcher. He's played very well the past few games. But with Kirk having a concussion right before trade deadline, it'd be hard to replace Kirk. It's not very often you see an all-star catcher, but I would feel more comfortable if I had a third catcher in the mix just in case.
Kirk's only on the 7-game injured list, so I'm not too concerned.
And you also have, I don't know if you know, but I'm not saying he's back right now, but Dalton Varsho actually can play catcher.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
And Varsho could be back as early as this series against the Orioles.
I did know that, yes.
There's another guy that I know, Streakers Island. If anyone listens to me, they're probably going to give us a lot of hate on the Gmail. They're probably going to call our phone number that's a website and be like, fire this guy. There's one guy that I think...
Put the email on the screen if anyone wants to get mad at Lane.
Well, there's one guy on a team that I think if you could do it, I'm not saying it's... I know this is a 0.0. Like, this is a dark shot. Like, if this happened, you guys got to pick my lottery numbers because this would be the most... But I'm throwing it out there. The Jays should call the Los Angeles Angels and throw everything they can to get Mike Trout. I'm being dead serious. That team is so bad. Give them whatever they want. Give them money. Give them draft picks. Give them 40 draft picks. Whatever they want. Give it to them. Get Mike Trout.
Interesting.
I'm being serious. He's playing on a bad team. That team's doing absolutely nothing. They're going nowhere. There's no reason for him to play there. They're not getting better. They're getting progressively worse. Please, that's a guy. You want to bring in a name value. You want to bring in your all-star. You want to bring in a World Series guy. That's your guy.
Wow.
He just got his 1000th RBI today.
No,
Wow.
dude. He plays on Sunday. He plays on such a bad team. His team's
That's what I mean.
terrible.
Maybe this is the year the Jays do it. It's kind of like, do you remember the last year before they kind of blew up the Batista era? They went out and got Price, and they made a couple really big moves, and I know they fell short. But I think this is the best team since that team.
I agree.
I
with
think
you.
This might be the year. Now, let's say you resign, but let's say you know the Bichette deal's coming and you don't feel this team's a World Series champion quite yet, then okay, I guess fair enough. But if you don't do anything, let's say they maybe win one round and then Bichette walks, you're going to look back and be like, man, you really missed an opportunity to do something special in the six again. Because remember, the Jays are like the Raptors in that sense. You're not just trying to win for your city, you're trying to win for your country.
100%.
And you know, not to get into the politics, but you know, I think Canada could use a win, and 100%. I think there is pressure on the Jays to do it, and I would like to see them. I just look and I think their weak point is the bullpen. When I'm looking,
I do have a question, and maybe this is a stupid question, so for this I apologize.
How is this ever a stupid question?
Well, this one might be.
Why can't ducks fly a spaceship?
No, it's not the question.
Lane, you told me there's no stupid questions.
Well, they can't read the manuals. There you go.
Oh, is Stroman still in the MLB?
He's not very good. I wouldn't
Yeah, with the Yankees.
I would bring him back.
No,
he can't.
Why not?
Because he literally, because he kind of said he would never do. It's kind of like the Ryan Reeves thing. He literally said he would never put a Yankee jersey on, or something like that, and then he did. It's like, okay, well.
I don't know. I think he got bum rap in Toronto. He was young. You need bullpen. You know, it's hard to find players that like playing in Canada and like playing in Toronto. He liked it.
That's not true at all. Like, there's a lot of players who want to play in Toronto right now.
So we don't want to pay our taxes, bud.
Dance, forget the taxes for once in your life.
This is not hockey.
It's like Josh Allen talked about that, and we're going to be talking about the NFL in a little bit. But Josh Allen, when they said, oh, you could have made more money in the open market, he's like, I already have enough money to live my whole life 10 times over. I don't care. And it's the same thing for a lot of these athletes in baseball. There's no salary cap, so the Jays can just pay players more money.
And the argument is, the good thing about baseball is, at least when you play here in Canada in the summer, it's pretty good weather, and you want to leave during the winter, go. You can leave. You don't have to stay here. You can go to your Florida home.
That's true.
But Chazzy, you've been awfully quiet, but I know you're a baseball connoisseur, and I know you like to just soak everything in. You're like a sponge. If you were named Bob, you would be SpongeBob. I'm Patrick. This isn't the Krusty Krab. But anyways, what do you think about the Jays?
Patrick?
What do you think about the Jays in the deadline?
My question is if you're going to make a move, do you move one of your studs that are coming off the DL?
No, because
I have not thought of that, but I wouldn't. No.
I still think Santander
because you're going to need to get a starter.
So if you're moving
a starter and maybe a bullpen.
So if you're moving Varsho, let's say hypothetically, because I mean, let's be honest, the outfield. Hold on, before you guys freak out, the outfield's been doing fine without him. How much do you get for a guy like Dalton Varsho? Do you get an ace pitcher for Varsho?
He doesn't have control right now, isn't it? He doesn't have control anymore. The good thing about when the Jays got him, now even though the trade actually has actually played out pretty well, I will say, even though at the beginning when that first trade first made, I wanted to throw my computer through the window. But
what
I know I was I'm not telling you, if we did the Streakers Island podcast, Chazzy, if you think my Leaf rants are bad, when that trade was made, we would have had 1 million views. I was like, ah!
What trade was that?
It was Gabriel Moreno, who was like literally like ranked like one of the best catchers. Like literally the Jays had the #1 best ranked catcher for the future. Like he was literally considered to be like better than Kirk, he's going to be one of the best catchers ever because he's still so young. He still could be still one of the top ranked MLB prospects. I don't know where Jacob, but he just was like, I don't want to hear about this. I'm leaving. It was Gabriel Moreno and a guy who was a huge Blue Jay player for us. He was big on the team. All the fans loved him. He even colored his hair the same color as his name was Lourdes Gurriel Jr., who was having a really good season. So we traded literally one of the best MLB prospects and a fan favorite for Dalton Varsho. Everyone was like, "Oh, this Varsho guy's really good. He's a 5-2 player."
Wasn't that in Arizona? And they made it to the final. I think they made it to the
They made it to the final, and he came here and I'll be honest, he had a brutal season. He was good at defending, but his offense was down. He was striking out left, right, and center. Everyone was kind of like, "Why did we get this guy? All he does is strike out every bat." We could have had Moreno and Gurriel Jr. who were going off. Now, as the years have gone on, the last 2 years, I'll give it to him. Varsho's drastically improved. I'll 100% admit it. Varsho has become the player the Jays wanted. But the thing was, at the time of the trade, the thing that made that trade so valuable for the Jays is, and again, someone might have to correct me. I'm not sure really how this works, but you have years of control. Which means no matter what happens, you pretty much get to, it's like RFA in a way, where even if his contract comes up, you get to basically say, "Well, no, you're just staying." Even if he wants to leave, you get to basically be like, "Nah, B, you're stuck here." So the thing with Dalton Varsho was they had 3 or 4 years of control, so they got to keep him even if he wanted to leave or he wanted to go to a different team. They got to keep him and keep his terms of service for so many years. And that's what made that trade good. I don't know what he would go for now because now he's considered to be an unrestricted free agent. So if you do trade for Dalton Varsho and Varsho turns out to be like a Martin Nietzsche or a Nico Randy, just goes, "I don't want to play here." Well, then is it worth it, right? At least when the Jays got him, they know they had him for 4 years. So it's good little things to look into.
You know what? First I thought Chazzy was crazy, but I'm kind of thinking about it. I'm like, the team is playing well as is. Maybe you do trade a guy that's been on the injury reserve. I may be more of a Santander, who wasn't really quite fit, but I don't know who would want him.
He's a switch hitter that hits bombs. Like, he's having a bad year.
He hasn't hit. The only thing he's hit is the IR in Toronto.
I mean, he hasn't
played well. Even when he was playing, he wasn't playing well. Who do you take out to bring in to bring him in?
Another guy's Jimenez too. Like, wow.
Well, I mean, Jimenez, I really think you keep because I think he was playing well before he got hurt. Santander might be the stud you might move on from.
I'm just saying it's crazy. We're sitting here talking about how the Jays could do to bolster their roster. If they played their cards right for playoffs, they could have Santander, Jimenez, and Dalton Varsho all in full swing by October.
But does that help your? But does that help?
100%.
I said, does that help your shaky bullpen?
I mean, Brewell's been pretty good. I mean, I like that guy. He throws strikes. He hit a bad outing today, but coming in,
but Chad Green's been bad of late.
He has. But everyone has the bullpen, no matter what you get. But I look at the bullpen, no matter what you do, is going to have up and downs. I've always seen the bullpen as a streak. I don't know. Maybe Chaz, you would agree with me. A bullpen is
streakers.
Yeah, like Chaz, you would agree with me, right? Like a bullpen is kind of up and down. They're gonna have their moments where they look like, "Oh God, these guys suck. None of these guys can pitch a strike." And then they look like, and then there'll be 1 week where it's like, no matter what they do, they're striking out 40 guys left, right, and center and giving up no runs. Am I right or wrong here?
Oh no, you're right. And then when you throw injuries into that momentum, and I don't know, the Jays obviously did something right because we talked about it. That's what they needed to improve, and the arms got better, and they're all pitching well right now. It's like we said. Now you're getting into August. Now you're getting into September. Here comes the playoff baseball, and 60 games. Anything can happen here, right? What's the lead right now? 4 or 5 games?
Oh, it's huge. Like I know they lost. They lost today, but I think they're killing it. Like I'm not.
However,
I'm
I
not
think if
worried
you're the
about
Yankees, you're watching those Red Sox are only a game or two behind you right now.
Oh,
Yeah, I said that earlier. The Red Sox, watch out.
Look at
But I do
Judge
want to
now.
move on to the Jays' next series, which is against the Baltimore Orioles. And let's be honest, this is a series they should win. They should win, but and never mind, should win. You got to win them. So first game's coming up.
Yeah,
This
is tough.
Everyone get into your Streakers app and let me know who's going to win. So I'm going to start with Mr. Morfor.
Yes, sir.
Sir? Oh my gosh. Well, Dan's certainly trying to get more speaking time from the producer. Who do you think's going to win this one? Oh, you know what, Dan? For the sir, the floor is yours. Who's winning?
Oh, I say the Jays are going to win because, like, if they lost against Detroit yesterday, but you also look at it, if they were down 10-0 in the bottom of the ninth, and they made a comeback of 4-10. So I get it was still a loss, but the fact that this team did not give up and got 4 ones at basically the end of the game, you gotta give this team a lot of credit. Even if Detroit fans were starting to boo because they were fed up because they wanted the game to be over. So it just proves how special this team is and how this team doesn't give up. And you're right, Jacob. Baltimore should be an easy win for Toronto at this point. It gives Toronto more momentum to build their league against Yankees, be the best team in the division in Major League Baseball, and to get that much closer, 98 wins. So I say for Jays.
Chazzy might be disagreeing with you so much he's in prayer hoping for a different answer. So, Chazzy, who are you taking?
No, as you were talking there, I was just going to the Podcasters and Broadcasters channel on the Streakers app, and we have these picks live in right now. So I'm actually creating a sports booth that 10 fans can join us here. And so 3 of the picks, I'm going to put the Jays in as my first pick. So I'm taking the Jays.
Oh, nice.
Lane, who are you taking in the Streakers On podcast sports booth?
I'm trying not to be the negative one, but I think the Orioles are going to win. The Jays, and I'm not saying this is because I don't think the Jays are good. The Jays are due to lose a series eventually, and I have a feeling like it's
the whole series.
Well, not like it's swept, but I think I could see them losing 2 or 3. Like they've just been winning so many series in a row. Like eventually, you're eventually due to lose. And we typically the Jays have struggled against these teams that are struggling. Like the White Sox, they weren't able to beat the White Sox. The last time they faced the Athletics, they weren't able to beat them. I think they can beat the better teams, and I feel like sometimes when they face these worst teams, kind of gets away from them. And I feel like you haven't lost a series in a while, so I'll pick the Orioles, but I'm hoping the Jays win. I'm just going based off of up and downs. Like, I just like sometimes, you're so up, it's like, well, eventually you're going to lose one series.
What comes around goes around. What comes up must step down.
Basically,
but I disagree with you here, Mr. Dashko. For one of my 3 picks in this one, I will be taking the Toronto Blue Jays. I do think that they do lose a series at some point, but I do think after coming off an embarrassing 10-4 blowout against the Tigers, yes, Dan, I do admit the 9th inning with 2 out to able to put up 4 runs and get the bases loaded to then strike out on a pitch you never should have swung at. But I mean, the Jays did almost make the Tiger fans are starting to boo. That's how much frustration the Jays brought to them. So I do think the Jays will win this first game. But
the Jays should go into Detroit and take 3 out of 4.
Yo, you got to be happy. Like I said going into that run, if they could split the Tigers and beat the Yankees in the series, I'd be happy. And they did better than that. But now let's get into our props. And I have made
I have a question of what are your props? So you had 0 earned runs for both teams.
Sorry, I meant to say 0 errors. 0 errors.
Oh, errors.
Wow. The game is going on forever.
I mean, if you think about it, that could actually happen because if you get a run on an error, it's not an earned run.
Oh, you're right.
You know what, Lane? Because you just kissed the producer's butt, you get first pick on the props.
That's right. I'm learning around here.
Do you think
the Jays
will the Jays get 5 runs before the 7th inning?
5 runs before the 7th inning? Yeah, I think they will. I think it's good. They're gonna. This team puts on offense like no matter what. I think they could get the 5 runs. Yeah.
Lane knows how to get the first prop. Mr. Chazzy. Will between the 2 starting pitchers, will we see a combined 155 pitches?
This is one of my 3 picks of the 5. I went yes.
By the way, come on, you don't see a prop like that very often.
No.
I'm just trying to find the because I had it in for the earned runs. I'm just changing this prop right now for you guys. The errors.
And that's the thing, Streakers app, you can change on the fly live.
Mr.
I wonder if
Morfor,
that's-
will there be 0 errors committed between the two teams?
I'm going to say no. I think a series could get a little sloppy. Baltimore is one of the worst teams in the league, worst team in the division. As Lane pointed out, the Jays do sometimes come kind of sweepy against teams beneath, but no, every team's beneath them at this point, but way beneath them. Like Chicago White Sox come out a little sweepy. So even though I think the Jays will win, I think the game could get a little sloppy and it could be some errors.
Last, but certainly not least, would be me. And I think there will be a combined 8 runs between the two teams. I'm going to see a bit of a higher scoring game. I actually think the Jays are going to kind of blow this one out of the water, to be honest. I could see like a 9-1, 9-3 kind of thing for Toronto.
Ooh, some offense.
But I will take on Mr. Chazzy. If Chazzy, you want to send me a rivalry, because I don't think we're going to see a combined 155 pitches between the two starters.
Okay, I'll send that. I just sent you each the invite for this sports booth. And by all means, you can find it on the Streakers app. We need 7 more to join. And I'm going to send you a rivalry right now.
Oh! But now I want to move on to the NFL. And some interesting things about NFL training camp right now. I would love to make fun of you guys for Aaron Rodgers' first throw in practice being a pick six. I think that was hilarious.
Practice.
So then Aaron Rodgers
Yeah,
not
practice.
knowing ESPN and TSN were owned by the same people. I thought that was pretty funny. But I want to talk about the Bills. The people are actually writing the Bills off before the season has even started. And they talked to Josh Allen about that. They're like, you're not being considered a contender. And he shrugged his shoulders and went, okay.
Yeah.
To me, I think, okay, I understand the Bills have not been able to beat the Chiefs, but eventually it's got to happen, right? And I don't think you can say the Bills. I think every year Josh Allen is on that team, the Bills are a contender. Kind of like I feel with the Baltimore Ravens, as much as Justin Jefferson's week to week with an injury right now, I feel as long as they have Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, I can't say that team's not a contender.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know if you guys agree with me or not. I know, Dan, you probably do because you're part of Bills Mafia like myself.
Yeah.
And I believe, Chazzy, you are as well.
Yeah.
Like, how do you guys feel about that? People kind of writing off the Bills before the season's even started.
I have a question about the Bills. Did they sign Cook?
He's back this year, yeah.
Yeah, so that's another key piece. I think what's missing with the Bills is losing Diggs. I understand. No, let me finish. They have to replace Diggs. They have to. I understand we're not going to bring him back, but they need a big-time wide receiver.
I disagree with you. I think we're seeing – I thought the Bills had their best offensive season without a ball hog receiver, where the ball just got spread around evenly.
And where did they get you in the playoffs? Nowhere.
The same result you had with Diggs.
Also, that's
like saying the Leafs are worse without Mitch Marner because they lost a superstar for the playoff run. I think the Bills.
You're also forgetting.
What am I forgetting?
Forgetting they lost a big player in Von Miller too.
I think Von Miller's a complete idiot, and I am more than happy that he's gone. I think he is I think he is a culture problem, and I was over the moon that he was gone. I'm sorry, this man has been caught with multiple drug charges. He parties all the time. He shows up late to practice. I don't want him. Get off my field. I don't want him. I was so happy when Von Miller is a grown man who goes parties with college kids. And but you can look this up. You can look this up. Funny enough, back in the Chad Kelly college day era, these things started happening with Von Miller. He is known for being a problem. I am absolutely thrilled he is gone. Bye-bye. See you later. Nice to never meet you. No interest in him being on, because I think culture is more important than skill. I really do. I think the right culture, and the Bills are trying to build the right culture. So when you have a guy like Von Miller, there's a reason why Von Miller said he was willing to come back for the league minimum, and the Bills said go away. So there's a reason why the Bills didn't bring him back.
So let's talk about that culture. Are we talking about the same thing we did with Vladdy going into the Jays season as we're about to go in with Cook in the Bill season?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I think I do think Cook, I think a deal with Cook will get done by week 5.
Why that long? If you know it's going to get done, why do they wait that long? Like, why not have that?
Because they want something to talk about. So they want to give us something to talk
Because it sells papers.
Paper.
Or what? What's paper?
Chazzy, how old are you? Did you find a DeLorean?
See, he looks young.
What is it? It's about follows and clicks, right?
Exactly. Okay, so you guys do feel they need a receiver. I don't personally. If anything, I would like
they
to see.
spread the ball.
Like,
they spread the ball.
If anything, I think if they were going to upgrade, it would be in the defensive back position. Because I remember they got cooked a few times, more than a few times last year with that. Like they pressure well and they have good team defense, but when you get man-to-man coverage down the field, they struggled at times. I don't know who's really available because I'm more of I'll be honest, until the CFL's done, I don't fully pay attention to the NFL. I'm just going
to have a start this year because you're on the island.
I can do whatever how I want. You're not my manager.
Let's look up
Jazzy, it's easy to follow NFL.
Let me look at the NFL page and see what's up.
But all I'm saying is about the Bills. I think people writing them off, like if people want to, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm not even going to write off I don't think you can write off a team like the Dallas Cowboys either going into this year.
Well,
yeah, they fall apart in the playoffs every year, but they got to figure it out at some point. Yeah, here we go.
Mr. Dasco.
Can't wait for that.
Mr. Dasco.
Yes, sir.
Are you a Bills Mafia fan?
I don't care. I will. Here's what I'll say about the NFL. It's the one sport I can sit back and just go, I really don't care who wins. I just want to see a good game.
Whoa!
It's the one sport I
those 6'3" barn burners we get in the NFL.
No, it's just, but like hockey, I just sit there and yell about the Leafs. In basketball, obviously, I'm going to be Raptors basis. In the CFL, I gotta eat it. I gotta eat sushi every week and eat it raw. So the one sport, the Jays or the baseball, the NFL is the one sport I get to sit here on a Sunday and be like, what game is on? I don't care. Give me a game. And the one thing that I think is so good about the NFL that I wish other sports did, I just don't know how they would do it. I just wish they could interact. Like I wish they could do it somehow. Is that whole thing where on the Sunday where that Chris Hansen guy or whatever his name is, I don't think his name is Chris Hansen, but he's like the guy. He's like, oh, he shows every game, every play. I love that stuff, man. That's just so fun to watch. Just the key plays, and they'll show you, oh, like this happened. We're in red zone territory. The score is this. Oh, there was a 40-yard interception, touchdown going the other way. I love that. I think it's so great that I'll put that channel on a Sunday and I'll just sit back and go, this is amazing.
See, I'm the opposite. I don't like the fact that all the games are on at once because it's impossible to watch every game. Okay, I get you can record some games. And
that's why you watch NFL's Red Zone.
Yeah, but you can't watch you can't properly watch all 15 games at once.
Oh, Scott Hansen. I said Chris Hansen. Chris Hansen used to catch a predator. I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, that name doesn't sound right. We're not trying to catch a predator. Scott Hansen. That's what I meant to say. But no, I love it. So that program on a Sunday, if you're bored, it's better than any game you'll watch.
No. If you're bored, you need to just go on the Streakers app and challenge people to random things. That's the best. I love challenging like Dan to like a sport I have no idea about and just seeing if I'm right.
Yeah.
Like how Mad Mama was leading in the AHL when I asked her about I'm like, do you know the AHL? She's like, not really. It's always
the analyst you just took over more for on the Island channel. So Granny 59 was up there for a few days and then you just took them all over.
You know, I know my CFL, okay? That's how we do. But I still just think to call the Bills a write-off. Actually, do you know a team that I think that has as high at people aren't writing off that I would almost write off going into this year is the Miami Dolphins. You have the complete mess
Nah.
of Tyreek Hill after last year saying, "Peace out, I don't want to be here." Oh, just kidding, I'm back. You have their
Why don't
quarterback
Buffalo get him?
bluntly. You have the quarterback bluntly saying you need to re-earn the team's trust. Like
He's
I don't
not
know.
even, and he's another one. Can you
And the
even trust
quarterback
him?
can't stay healthy with Tunga Loga. And actually, I was a little surprised they didn't go and get a guy like Justin Fields just as an insurance policy.
Seriously.
Because I don't think Justin Fields actually. I know Lane might agree with me. Dan and Chazzy will not. I would have kept Justin Fields over Aaron Rodgers going in for the Steelers.
Seriously.
Wow.
He's already showing up in training camp. Can't throw a pass already.
Oh, calm down. He'll be fine.
I can't wait to
You
order
say that.
clowns too.
Double digits.
Yep, 100%.
Clowns
Oh,
too.
buddy, you should just buy that clown
This
costume
is
now
the
on
easiest
sale
selling
ahead
for
of
the
time of
boys.
Halloween.
Which,
It'll
by the way,
be
we will do
fine.
an NFL
This is
preview
the
show.
comeback kid.
We will do an NFL preview show closer to the regular season
Cool.
with a whole bunch of custom props for the entire season.
Whoa.
So make sure you stay locked in for that one. But I am curious to see how the Tyreek Hill to Tungaloga connection will work. Right? Because Tyreek Hill, if you guys remember at the end of last season's like, bye, I don't want to be here.
Well, let's get Buffalo. Let's put
No, I don't want another idiot superstar.
Go back to the Chiefs.
No.
Well, but his production, like his targets were going down even before that. So
Yeah, I know, but like you guys get what I'm saying. I think Buffalo is really more trying to build a culture, and I think that's more. Look at the Chiefs. They don't necessarily have all the best players, but they keep winning because, well, they're in bed with the refs, but still.
Yeah.
Or look at the
Okay,
Philadelphia.
so-
Actually, I saw a crazy take where people saying that Jalen Hurst is a tier 3 quarterback and they can win with Justin Fields starting instead of Jalen Hurst.
Oh,
These guys are nuts. I think Jalen Hurst is arguably as good. Maybe not as good as like your Lamar Jacksons and your Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, but he's got to be at least a tier 2. And
I think he's a
borderline
tier
between
1.
tier 1 and tier 2.
I think he's a
so
tier 1.
underrated. Because everyone says, well, he doesn't put up the explosive numbers. I'm like, nobody knows how to
Who
manage.
cares? He won the Super Bowl.
He knows how to manage a game. That's all I'm looking for, right?
Exactly.
And not just one member. He's been to the finals twice in 3 years.
The NFL, you got your fourth down. You may as well manage it, right?
Everyone gets max. He gets all his touchdowns from his quarterback sneaks. I'm like, okay, he knows how
Who
to
cares? He
quarterback
gets them
sneak. Good on
done.
you, bud.
So
But
funny they want to
I don't understand how you can write off the Bills when you bring in a Joey Bosa.
oh man,
He's good.
And then, okay, maybe they don't have the flashy wide receivers, but
but they have good wide receivers.
Shakir, Coleman, Palmer, and Elijah Moore. Like, I don't know. Like, those are 4.
They have a good, and also too, I feel like Josh Allen does Superman stuff at least once.
Oh, and he's a running back, right? So
he's practically a running back who can throw. Just like this week in the CFL, we saw Janarian Grant take his best quarterback impression.
And he's like the nicest guy of life too, Josh Allen. Super nice.
Here we go.
But I'm very curious to see the NFL preseason. For some reason, starts this Thursday. I have no idea why it's starting.
no, because it's the Hall of Fame game. They do.
Okay, but why is the Hall of Fame game in the preseason?
Because nobody would watch it anyways. That's why.
Well, but it's like the Hall of Fame game should be something really cool and exciting. It shouldn't just be like, oh, here you go, it's random Thursday that no one's gonna watch.
Why? It's when you start. It's when everybody starts getting that tingly feeling that the season's around the corner.
But I think
start hearing that song. That
oh yeah, I love it.
But Phil, the Hockey Hall of Fame game is in the regular season.
What I don't get is then we have the first preseason game on this Thursday, and then we have a week off.
Yeah.
And then we're back again Thursday, August 7th. I don't.
Oh, yeah.
Why it's like, hey, football's here. Just kidding. Wait a week.
No, it is a tease. Yes, it is a tease.
Actually, I am excited for it, to be honest, though. The Washington Commanders.
Oh,
My
yeah.
boy Jaden Daniels guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Man. He's such a cool
They're going to
story.
have a good year.
I think the Commanders are a potential Super Bowl contender going into this year.
Yeah, I think so too.
You have Jaden Daniels in his 3rd season. He's learned that much more. This team is good.
What do you guys think about his story? Like, are you surprised we haven't heard more of what he did compared to what other prospects? I don't know if you guys know
I'm
the
going to
story.
say this right now. If the island wasn't a thing. Well, the island existed. We just couldn't find it yet. Dan, Chazzy, and I were lost at sea for many years. And I said to all of them when we were sitting on a boat drinking margaritas that I thought Jaden Daniels was better than Caleb Williams.
I thought Gilligan's Island at the beginning
had an attitude problem. Because I don't know if you remember, Caleb Williams going into that season said, well, I don't want to be drafted by Chicago unless they give me co-ownership.
Yeah.
And the guy was just a total idiot. Then he comes to Chicago, and I'm sorry, but he sucks.
Even when he was at USC, he had demands.
He sucks. Exactly. Go back to painting your nails. You're not you're not good at football. He's basically if Trey Ford had a little bit of a stronger arm, but less escapability. That's basically Caleb Williams, and I'm going to call it out. I'm calling it the way I see it here. And Chicago must be banging their head against the wall that they did not pick Jaden Daniels instead.
Well, you guys know about the story about I don't know. I didn't know about this until I really looked into it. About he wouldn't go to a team unless they let him use this whole VR thing.
Right.
Okay, but it's worked.
I know, but nobody believes in it. Like, everyone's like,
you're crazy. They do now.
Did, though.
No, they do now, exactly.
If I'm a team and that's his only thing, I'm like, sure, I'll buy you an
talked about this on the island.
We did. But you know what? If I'm a GM and he wants an Oculus, sure, here you can have
his reaction rate.
Merry Christmas. Here's an
Oculus. I wonder if that's a thing. I wonder why we haven't seen it in other sports.
We will. We are seeing
it now,
actually. Yeah. There is a VR goalie training program now.
Because I don't know if he Chazzy would know because he's more of an athlete than I am, but I see these sports like football, baseball, maybe not hockey. I think hockey could be different because it's a lot more moving, but especially football where you're going to hike the ball. There's people coming at you. You're going to see receivers. That's happening every play, right? Baseball, you're in the batter's box. The pitcher's throwing the ball. That's something you're going to see every time. I'm not surprised that can't work. Where if you're running the same simulation against literally the playbook, you can get the Madden playbook. You know what plays they're going to run. You just run the simulation 100 times, so you know what plays are coming. You can recognize the plays. I think it's so smart that no other teams have been jumping on that bandwagon.
Well, in my view, though, right? I was watching one earlier, and it was a hockey program for goaltenders to work on their reaction time. I think VR will be because if you think about it, you're not going to get injured in a safe VR environment. So it's just an interesting one to see what would actually happen with that, right? And I would really like to see this happen in the future in the NFL. And I think teams are going to look at that. And I don't get it. It's like I wouldn't buy him an Oculus 3, which is a really good VR headset for like $300.
Would you buy me an Oculus 3?
If you were as good as Jaden Daniels, potentially win me a Super Bowl, yes, I would.
But right now, would you go to Best Buy? I want one.
It's closed.
Okay, bye.
But
don't forget, in hockey, we have a goalie.
It's not the same. Speaking of hockey, we'll quickly get into this a little bit. The Ottawa Senators did make the playoffs for the first time last year in many years. And I thought they would have gone for more than nothing that they've done in this offseason. Because I think this team's looking to get better. Chazzy's so sick of it, he's got to, pull the cord. I see him grabbing a cord. He's just pulling the plug on the Senators, apparently. But Lane, you're shaking your head. No, you're happy. I guess as a Leaf fan, you're happy the Senators did nothing. But
no, explain why. So I'm gonna bring it back, and then I'm gonna make it about the Leafs because everything in hockey has to be about the Leafs. It's a fact. No, but I'm being serious. Okay, so let's rewind. Let's back up a little bit to 2016 here. The Leafs make the playoffs with Austin Matthews, right? What did they do wrong? They tried to accelerate their progression by going out and getting John Tavares, right? They thought, we made the playoffs. let's get stars. Let's bring in more. Let's get more instead of letting the team grow together. And ultimately, the last 8 years has been a big fail because of a decision just like that. Instead of hanging on to the guys they have and letting the team naturally, progressively grow, letting players develop, letting players get better, seeing where the issues is, adding slowly instead of just throwing everybody in and being like, well, let's go get all-stars. Let's go sign this. That's the wrong thing to do. And I actually got to give the Senators some credit here. They haven't made the playoffs for a long time. They haven't been relevant. They made the playoffs this year. They took strides. Now it's about seeing what the team is again. Let this team grow. You still got guys who are going to grow in. You still got Stützle. You still got guys that are going to grow. Who guys are going to get better. This team is still young enough that they can get better. Then they can assess at the deadline and maybe add where they need to. And then next offseason, if they're still kind of in that same situation, then maybe you can add in. I wouldn't rush it right away. When you rush right away, maybe you shoot too bright, and then you end up in a situation where you're losing your star players. You're in a bad cap hit. You're losing players. Now you're losing key guys. No, it's good to just keep the team together, see what happens this year, let it play out, add the deadline when you have to, or you move in a different direction. You move into next offseason, which is probably the better move because there's better players anyways. So I actually don't hate it.
The only thing I would say that's different of this versus the Leafs did it year one of the Auston Matthews era. The Senators are in year
right, but
4 or 5.
That's what I was going to say.
But it's their first year making the playoffs. I'm just saying you finally have gotten your team in a good spot right now where you've got the players that everything's finally starting. You've been taking kicks at the can. You've been bringing out. You had bad ownership. You didn't have cap. You didn't have good coaching. You didn't have a good GM. You didn't have a good owner. You had all this mismanagement. You had the Uber situation. You had players leaving. You had a bad rep. You had a bad culture, right? You're trying to change it. You're trying to bring in stars. You had to trade Erik Karlsson. This team went through a lot. This organization has been through a lot lately, and they finally have gotten it somewhat back together. They're starting to finally recuperate here and starting to show. I wouldn't rush into something right now. There's so many, what the deadline teams are going to sell. You're going to be in a position you can get a lot of players there, just like what the Leafs are doing. They said these free agents suck. We're not going to jump on it. We're going to wait to see what happens. Wait to see when a player becomes available. Wait for a Trevor Zegras situation. I think Ottawa's in that same boat where they can kind of just wait. They've got the goalie. They've got the stars. They've got enough talent. This team can do it. They just have to wait. They're going to probably be in the mix all season long in that wild card spot. I just think this is a different team. They don't have to rush, go get the all-star, and then lose out on a guy like Shane Pinto or lose on a guy like this. They have the stars. They have the cap.
Wait, are you saying Shane Pinto's a star?
He can be.
No, he can't. He's too busy making bets.
But he's good when he plays.
I'm kind of
Shane Pinto's a good player.
I can tell by Dan.
And they got the guy from Buffalo. They got Dylan Cousins. He's been in arms. That guy's a stud.
I think for Ottawa, I would have liked to seen some pieces, even if they were like a Dakota, like you look at the Leafs when they went and got Dakota Joshua. I would have loved that for Ottawa. I would have loved just a good, solid addition. No, it's not a superstar, but it's building blocks to the castle. I agree. The Leafs tried to build the castle when they weren't even done digging the moat. But I think Ottawa, I would have liked to see them.
Okay, but the
deadline they could still do that. And Dan, I know there's 2 players, Dan, you were thinking that Ottawa really could have brought in.
Yeah, no offense, Lane, but I 100% disagree with you because this is not the first year. No, I'm going to kick him off the island for it.
Whoa.
No way I would do that to Mr. Lane, Mr. Dasco. It's the Leafs, Ottawa has been in this mess for a few years now with Tkachuk, and I think Tkachuk has underperformed, and with Stützle, and they've only made the playoffs one time. They got Klazarou. I'm happy they got him back. They got the goalie. But I think you saw it against Toronto. His team needs more scoring. I want to give him $6 million, but if you can get Waksevich for about $4 million, He made about $2 million last year. He getting about $4 million. He's the best free agent on the market of this era, of this time. I would bring him in. The other wild card I would bring in is Max Pacioretty. I think he would be a great leader for this young Ottawa group. And he knows the Battle of Ontario. He's physical. I could see him play well with Cousins and all that in Ottawa. I would love Ottawa boost for defense, but this free agent class is so weak. I don't know who they can really get. One wild card I just thought of is I think his name's Kale, first name, Carl or something. Carl Wozen, who the Leafs had at one point in their AHL. He's
How the hell would you want a mediocre fourth-line player
But
can't make it in the NHL?
No, not for defensemen.
Kelly Rosen, I know who he's talking about.
Yeah, Kelly Rosen, that's the guy. I think he could be a good seventh defenseman for a weaker group like Ottawa and actually make a difference in this team. So that's who I would bring.
I have a question for Dan, since you don't agree. So then, okay, you believed in the Blue Jays, but yeah, I could argue the Blue Jays and the Senators are in pretty certain situations. They've had two guys for the longest time, and it's never worked. So why did the Blue Jays just go, well, screw it, we'll just coming into this year and just say, well, we don't care about our team. We're just going to add a bunch of players. You can argue the players they added didn't even make a difference. They relied on their depth this year, and look at they're the best team in MLB this year. They actually
hockey and baseball are two.
I don't care. My point is, their rosters. If you're saying about
I actually see Lane's point here a lot.
You said you've had Kachuk and Stützle, and it hasn't worked. Well, they've had Bichette and Guerrero.
I would have traded Kachuk.
They've had Bichette and Guerrero for 9 years, and this team's been a disappointment.
You're not trading Brady Kachuk in Ottawa.
I would have.
Jake, am I crazy? Like it's
no. I'm in between you two. Dan wants them to burn down the house. Lane wants them to put duct tape over the hole. I want them to just add a couple new bricks to try to patch up the situation and make the team a little bit better and see what they can do.
But they still can do that. That's what the trade deadline's for.
Yeah, but Lane, I'm concerned.
This free agency sucks. This free agent class sucked.
I understand that, but you could do a tree living and do and make moves. Like I think Ottawa was smart for not doing much in free agency. But there has been some trades available. As dumb as it sounds, you guys may laugh at me. I absolutely love Buffalo bringing in Connor Timmins at $2.2 million.
Yeah, that was a good move.
Trade. It's a good bottom six defenseman with power play one potential. Maybe Ottawa could have went for something like that. So that's what I mean. I think Buffalo's doing a decent job this free agent.
Maybe they're waiting till the deadline.
Maybe they're waiting for Bowen Byron.
No, probably he just resigned. But I'm being serious. Like there's going to be players.
I do see what you're saying.
Maybe they're just waiting. They're not. They're going to be. I'm telling you, Ottawa's going to be a team.
And maybe Ottawa's got some stud that I don't know about in their farm system. That's really
I'm not sure about that. I don't know about my friend would know more about that. He's an Ottawa. If we ever want to,
Lane, are you saying we're not friends?
No, I'm just saying we need not a center.
Chazzy is so upset he muted himself.
I know the guy, but
tears.
My point is just they still can, right? Like throughout the year, there's going to be a guy on Buffalo who's going to be like, "I don't want to be here anymore. We suck." And then they're going to do what they did with Dylan Cousins, and they're going to get some.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
They're going to rob them by gunpoint and give them a 7th-round draft pick for a star.
So what do you think, Chazzy, out of all this?
I think Steve Stales is a smart guy, man. I trust his process.
I think the Senators have a better goalie than your Toronto Maple Leafs.
100%.
I think
100%.
I just feel like this Senators team, they're trying to keep it together. They're keeping that core. If you talk to hear what Brady Kachuk and they're all talking about going into this playoff run, they just wanted to get a taste of it.
They wanted to learn.
And they learned. And what's his name behind the bench?
Chad Green.
Green, yeah. And he was talking about, I think he's got a nice culture going there. And I think Shades and the Sens fans, they got some exciting years coming up.
They just went to school. Like
they got a goalie. That's what they needed to do. And they built around that Brady Kachuk. And
I'm saying it right now.
I know Dan thinks I'm crazy. I know Dan thinks I'm crazy. If the Sens had a little bit more, I'm being dead bluntly honest here. If the Sens had a little bit more playoff experience, I think they would have beat the Leafs.
I don't think so.
They almost did. They almost forced Game 7 on a 3-0. It came down to one shot from Max Pacioretty that won. If that goes to overtime in Ottawa,
and I'm going to say this too. When you guys are saying that Almar's better than
just
Stolar,
saying, you almost lost a reverse.
I think they're
again.
No. Hear me out. I think they're comparable. The reason why I say comparable is Almar stays healthier, but he's not as consistent. Anthony Stolarz has had trouble staying healthy for a full season, but when he plays, he's very consistent. So I would put them equally as not franchise goalies, but they're good. They're good goaltenders for the price. That's what I would put them at. But on that bombshell, it is time to wrap up the show. But before we go,
he doesn't want to address the videos I used to send in for the island.
Dan, what is your island mindset?
Nice save, J-Mo. We need to talk about a live show with Jay's in the comments. He's a huge Sens fan. I want to talk about last week, whatever things happened, talk about this week. Last week was the anniversary of two famous celebrities dying of suicide, unfortunately. One is Chester from Lincoln Park, and two was Robert Williams, the famous comedian. And they were both very big mental health activists, talking about mental health, how important it was. And they both brought a lot of light to the community, helping people, bringing a lot of laughter and joy. And, you know, people were kind of surprised when they did what they did, right? So, you know, people talk about, well, who cares if one less light is out? Well, we also care about that one extra light. And we still care about that one extra light being out. And we said fight hard to make sure everyone's okay. And this is so, mental health is so important. We said check in on our loved ones and check in on our friends and make sure they're okay and let them know there's always help available for them so they don't have to make that final decision.
Very true on that, Mr. More for your money. And if anyone is struggling with mental health, there is obviously the suicide prevention line. You can always give them a call. You can actually text them now. So even if you get in a situation where you can't call, you can always text. Little fun fact about Robin Williams before we go. Did you know Robin Williams also was like not just a comedic actor, but played in serious roles such as Law and Order?
Yeah.
If you've ever watched the Law and Order of Robin Williams in it, you will realize he was just a brilliant actor. Like that's one of my favorite Law and Orders. And you watch it with a different perspective on it now because his character he played was someone that hid his depression. And you really watch that episode very differently now. And Chester from Lincoln Park was someone that, man, you felt the lyrics. Like, incredible artists, both gone too soon. So remember that, as Dan said, do check on your friends. And you know what? I'm even going to say this, and even someone that you might consider your enemy, if they're going through a hard time, show them some kindness. Yeah, as Selena Gomez says, kill them with kindness, but instead help them with kindness.
Yeah, and we've talked about this on the island before as a mindset, but such an important topic. We just need a reminder every so often.
Very true. But on that, we will wrap up the show tonight. Thank you very much for watching, listening, however you consume content. Maybe you watch 18,000 shorts a day. I have no idea. But however you do, thank you for watching.
Doesn't matter newspapers anymore.
You definitely got in the Streakers Island newspaper. Do watch out for something new maybe coming out on the Streakers gaming platform involving reading over the next little bit. So be ready for that. Be ready for us to come back on Thursday. Be ready for be ready for a Thursday. But depending on if the Jays do anything big at the deadline, I'm sure we'll do a live show to talk about it. So be ready for that. And of course,
some news for us, sir.
Week 9 in the Canadian Football League and so much more this week. But thank you for watching. I'm the self-proclaimed sports analyst, joined by Chazzy 7.21, going to run on eggnog. Mr. More for your money.
Woo!
And last but certainly not least, the man who would even look good covered in fleece, Mr. Lane Dashing Dashko. See you guys on Thursday.
I guess Lane looks like wearing a hoodie. Bye-bye.